So there's that.
I think we need to do that.
No, I don't need to do it for
I
very
think we can
long. I
just go
don't
into
think.
the full
Just
cam.
bam, ready, easy
Yeah.
money.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not gone. I'm here. That's crazy.
Wow. For the first time
The
in
first
4
time.
weeks,
No,
you're
no, no,
here.
no. It was working. It was working last week. It was working last week.
Uh-huh. Sure
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways,
Definitely.
welcome back to week 4, episode 4. I don't know what they're anymore. Welcome back to week 4 of the Left Shift Devcast. We're back. We're doing stuff. This is a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Halloween episode, spooky month,
Spooky month's
all that jazz.
great.
So yeah, we have a lot of like Halloween and like horror game like related topics. It's basically all we have this week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we did want to give an update on the beta games we talked about last week. Just give our updates on thoughts and stuff after playing them a little bit, and so we'll probably do that first, and then we'll move into the Halloween time stuff, and then we got a new video idea concept thing that we'll do later.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got devlog this week,
Yeah.
and after devlog, I forgot to put it in the doc, but we have to do shorts
Yeah.
for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
episodes that came out.
Sounds
So we'll do
good.
that later. Anyways, the beta games.
Oh, we're not even
I
roll an
guess we'll
intro
start
or
with
zoom in or
hyenas.
anything.
Do whatever you want.
Let's
I don't
roll the
know.
intro. Gotta stay on brand, you know.
Exactly.
Cool.
Nice.
And we're
Gotta love
here.
the
We're
live
zoomed
editing.
in, and it's cracked. We got everything done. Cool. Yeah.
It's
So I
going.
guess starting right off with the beta games.
Hyenas.
Sure, we can talk straight into hyenas. Last
All
week
right.
when we had it,
I played one game.
only one game. Okay.
That's all I did. I only played
Um,
one game. And then
if
so
you
I'll
weren't
let
here,
you take
yeah.
most of the thought.
If you weren't here last week, I got into the hyenas beta, but the beta hadn't launched until Friday, so I couldn't get my thoughts
Mm.
until now. And it's not good. It's not good. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
supposed to be like a PvP game, but the combat feels really bad, like worse than the finals. It didn't really
Well,
feel
the
like
finals wasn't even that bad,
well, I don't know.
so
Some of the gunplay stuff in the finals could have been better, but hyenas was like
yeah.
a step below that.
I think a few a few
A
steps
few
below
steps below
that.
that. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it was very
they had like half the
yeah.
cast locked behind like not a paywall, but like a grind wall right out the gate, which doesn't really
Yeah.
make any sense for an alpha because you should just give out all your characters so that people can try them. And then like
Yeah.
during the like the review stage, like they gave me like a review and gave me like a poll to vote on and stuff like that because they closed the beta.
Mhm.
And like during that they were asking, like, have you played these characters? And I'm like, no one's played these characters. No one can get them. You'd like 200 games to get the character. Like, no one's played that character.
Yeah.
Um, what else? Yeah, the gunplay just feels really bad. It's kind of search and destroy ish, where like if you die, you don't come back unless you get rezzed by a teammate, and like if your entire team gets
Yeah,
eliminated, you're just
but
out.
if you get full killed, you also can't get res by your teammate. So you just
Wait,
die and then you get full killed, and then
no, if you get full killed, you can just go to a res beacon and just res your teammates. I res my
oh, well,
teammates
my
four
teammates didn't
times.
do that.
I res my teammates four times in one
My
match.
teammates didn't do that.
Okay, well,
So
that's probably because they weren't there anymore. I res my teammates four times in one match. They died that many times.
yeah,
Their
it's
time to kill is kind of long. It's kind of Apex long, I would
it's
say.
it's longer. It's
Longer than Apex.
yeah, definitely longer.
Yeah.
Kind of. I haven't played Halo, so maybe like Splitgate,
Probably
like
a little bit
using an
less than
assault
Halo.
rifle.
Halo's a long time. Definitely less than Halo, I think. But not by
Yeah,
much, I don't think. It just
yeah,
I don't know.
it's pretty close.
It doesn't feel good. It feels like
Hmm.
everything. Like when Apex had the like PVE update, and everyone was like, "No PVE garbage." Like
Hmm.
the way that I can describe hyenas is everything bad about Apex Legends PVE is just hyenas gameplay. Like just base gameplay is it's just that you fight
Yeah.
the AI that don't really shoot you, but they're just kind of like annoyance, and then like in between
Yeah.
the AI, you have to fight like real players, and like the
You
real
have to fight the
players.
other teams.
But like
Yeah.
the enemy teams can like hide behind the NPCs, and they're a little bit harder to tell that they're like real, if that makes sense. It's kind of like
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember in old school Titanfall, they had they had calling cards, which are kind of like perks, where like you could use like them and like they'd go away, so you collect them during games.
Yeah.
And one of them was like if you use it, you become a specter, which is like one of the robots, and so you spawn in one
Right.
of those drop pods, and so you just
I
look like a
see.
robot, and so you can pretend to be an AI and just kill people for free because they wouldn't shoot at you because you're an because you look like an AI. That's how I felt playing Hyenas. Like
Yeah. I
all the people
see.
kind of blended a lot, except for like a couple of the characters. A lot of the cast like definitely blended a lot more with the AI than I would like. There's no borders. There's no nothing. There's
Mhm.
maybe like there's like the tiniest little arrow above someone's head that unless you're aiming on them you can't see. So like
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
it's like a capture point game. So
Yeah, I
and
I
like
didn't even really get to play the play much of the gameplay.
okay, basically
It was very meh.
the core
The
gameplay is
map was
like
small.
the map is
The only
confusing.
cool concept was like low gravity. Everyone's
The
kind of
low
flying
gravity was
around,
sick. I will say that. But
but
outside of that, it
other
got
than
meh.
that, it's yeah, just nothing much happened. So,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely meh, in my opinion.
yeah. Uh,
But yeah, I would say
yeah.
I would give it like a 3 out
It's
of
just
10 right now.
I
Time to
don't
Kill's
think I can
too
rate it since I only played one, so I
yeah,
don't think
Time
I
to
can
Kill's
give it a
too
rating at
long.
all.
Um,
There
like
needs to be
you
better respawn
yeah,
systems.
you
I
have
don't
to
know.
sit. I mean, there's enough
Like the
respawn
fight,
stuff if you can get away.
it's like the game mode itself is a lot like the finals
It
game
definitely is a
mode,
lot like the finals, but definitely just
except the
worse.
finals has it down. The finals
The
has
finals
the
has
game
it
mode
down a
down.
little bit more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have it more.
Yeah,
They have it more
like they
finalized.
have. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but like the main point is like you have to sit on the objectives until like they open up, and then you can steal all the loot, and the loot will give you like teleporters and like better equipment. And then once you have the better equipment, you're supposed
Mhm.
to be able to win the game slash go to a different vault, steal from that vault, and then you can get out once you have enough money. The thing is, if you die or you get
Yeah.
killed, not like full killed, but if you just like get knocked and then finished, like so someone can still res you as a teammate,
Mm.
go to like a res beacon or whatever. If you get killed like that, they can just steal the stuff that you drop. So if you get killed, they can just steal your money and then run away with it. So technically, there's no point in staying on the
Right.
objectives. Wait for an enemy team to get to the
Mhm.
objective, cap it for you, and then just kill them. You don't get better
Right.
weapons. You don't get
Yeah.
better. You get better shield. That's about it. But like you can get better shield by just killing
Yeah.
another team before they get stuff. It's like you just throw a grenade into the room and then wait for them to grab the shield. They'll blow up and then you can steal their stuff. Like
Right.
so there's not really a point in playing main objectives except for if you like just don't know how to play the game and you're just bad. And like you can't
Mhm.
kill the people once they have the better loot. And otherwise like it's not very competitive. There's not very good call
Yeah.
outs for the game.
The
Like
maps were really small.
the map I don't think had to
At
be
least
any
the one
bigger.
I
I felt like
played
the map was
was
a little
really
big.
small.
I feel like there should definitely be more like if I wanted to
It
fix the
kind of just
game.
felt like there's just one main area and then like stuff off to like each
That's true.
side
There
and
was like
like
two or
that's
three
where
main objectives in
each
the map that
people
I was in. I
spawn.
don't know if the maps are all the same. But
I don't know. Mine looked like a kind of like a mall.
yeah,
It was
I
like
think that
a
was the map. I
mall,
think it's all
and
one
then like
map.
the main
The
area
map
is the
seems like
only
it's
area
okay
that has
size.
gravity.
No, there's a couple
I
different
don't know.
areas.
I haven't played
Yeah,
enough, but
but
it just wasn't worth it.
yeah, for me it was like
I was just like, I don't got time for this.
the players were just really bad. Like I said, I one
Hmm.
game I res my teammates 4 times. I went to every single beacon in the entire map and res them every time.
Hmm.
And that wasn't just me like whenever we got into a team fight would run away. It was just me just being better and having more survivability and not playing on the open in front of two teams.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like it's just there's too much waiting around. Like the characters are just kind of like not unoriginal, but just like
Hmm.
uninspiring. I guess is the case. Like you don't have a lot of connection to any of them. Where like
Yeah, they're all just
personally,
kind of.
it's kind of like if you want to fit like a certain play style because like there's not a lot of customization. Like with the finals, there's a lot more customization
Yeah.
on the character you want. But like
Hmm.
with this game, it's not like Overwatch where you can say, oh yeah, I want to play a big bruiser, or I want to play a healer, or I want to play this person because they move around fast, I want to play someone with wall running or whatever. They don't really have that. They
Hmm.
have like, okay, you can get a character with an AK, or you can get a character with an Uzi, or you can get a character with a grenade.
Hmm.
You can get a person with
Yeah.
a sticky grenade, or you can get a character with a heal drone. Like none of them really like affect gameplay, if that makes sense. Like imagine
Yeah.
Apex but without anything except for passives. And passives are just like the main thing. Like that's just kind of how I view Hyenas with how they did the characters. So they definitely could do a little
Yeah.
bit better with that. The only character that I liked playing was the freaking tutu girl with the jetpack.
Yeah. That's who I played.
Yeah, she's pretty
It was
fun. No, she's
okay,
not pretty.
but
She's like okay. She's kind of OP though.
yeah, you can just kind of fly up
You
really high and
have
just
the
be like, all right, I'll
anti-gravity.
shoot everybody
You
from
have the
here.
yeah. You have the anti-gravity without being in the anti-gravity area, basically.
Yeah.
Is how I kind of viewed it. Just kind of like a better version of Valk, I guess, like a more OP version of Valk from Apex.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The game kind of trash. Don't play it. Sega did a bad job.
You don't.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Okay. On to the Descendants.
Yeah. So
This game I had hype for, and then it was Destiny 2.
Yeah, did we have this game before the last devlog?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't play it. Okay.
We talked about last. Yeah, we talked about it in
didn't.
the last one. We just didn't have
Yeah,
time.
so third person Destiny game. It's the first game that it's Unreal. It's the first game that I've seen that has metahumans. There's probably some other ones, but this is the first one I played.
There are other ones, but yeah.
And I think like the metahuman part of it was done pretty well. Like the models are pretty good.
It looked good.
Yeah, it looks like a great
good.
game.
Like if I were into wanting to play like Destiny and stuff, I might have given it more of a shot. So
yeah.
like this review isn't like it's like we didn't really play a whole lot of it.
Yeah, it's not like a 2,000 hours from Destiny, 100 hours into Descendants kind of.
Yeah, it's more so I didn't know that's what the game was.
I thought it was gonna be
it was more like yeah, I thought it was like an open world like co-op like fight bosses and stuff.
I didn't view it as open world. I thought it was just gonna be more like
I thought it was more like RPG stuff,
like
but I don't think it is.
COD, I believe COD Ghosts, with like the alien invasion. That's like a game that they kind of made instead of like survival or like zombies. It's like an alien invasion game, and so you have to like run around with a bomb and plant it in like nests, and when you blow up the nest, it spawns monsters, and you have to shoot them all. I thought it was gonna be more like that, and you'll have like boss waves and stuff. So more like a kind of like a Call of Duty version of tower defense, which could have been cool, but like that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that's not what I thought it was gonna be.
I kind of viewed it as being more like that. I mean, it looks good, but outside of that, like early access. So if they make it come out in the next 2 weeks, then probably don't play it. But if it keeps being in early access for like another year, maybe it'd be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much just an exact copy of Destiny, but without the 5 or 6 years or whatever it is polish that Destiny has had to kind of figure out what they want to do with the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And like the main like gameplay mechanic, like oh looky here, everyone has a grapple.
Yeah, they definitely
and just kind of
grapple
sucks.
Thing.
Just
Grapple's okay.
meh.
It's not great.
It doesn't really have a lot of range. Doesn't really.
It doesn't excite you. You know, it's not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not an exciting grapple.
It's not a reason to download the game. There's got to be more.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, kind of meh. Play it if you like Destiny.
It's just a meh game. Yeah.
Better than Hyenas, I'll say. As far as like my hype built up for both of them, Descendants definitely played the part better than Hyenas does.
Yeah.
Cool. So moving on, we got some more time to play some more BAP. Obviously, we hyped it up for the 2 or 3 hours that we played it before the podcast, and so
yeah. We've played it more. My opinions, maybe changed. I think I just said it was a good game. Now I have more critiques on the gameplay itself. Then like it's still a good game, but still. Like there's I have critiques. There's flaws in my opinion in the gameplay. Yeah. Because really there's only one type of I guess I'll just get into it. I think the ranked system is kind of dumb. It's kind of just like literally like sell your entire life to grind the game. To just rack up as many points as possible to climb the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
and not like, you know,
Representative of
like
an
not
actual
just like,
skill.
yeah, you can just waste time grinding away and get placed well. Um, and so that's, I don't know. In my opinion, it's just kind of like meh. Like right, I don't know. It's okay, but it's not great. It just rewards playing super safe, getting, like top 3, and you'll just go up over time. Like it'll just happen. Um yeah. So, my other kind of comments on like gameplay itself is that um basically there's only like one real way to play the game. Um And it's kind of just like run around, look for a third party, and don't actually get in any fights yourself. I'd say, like, if you want to like secure like getting wins and playing the game, because
Mm-hmm.
like, because like a lot of unfortunate stuff happens. Um, like just playing, and then just you just get jumped. Like the trios was really bad in my opinion, because like constantly like teammates just don't like group up, don't play together, and like you can keep pinging and doing all the stuff you want, but otherwise they don't play together. And if you run into another team of 3, there's zero way to 1v3. Like there's just none, because like everyone starts with like their amount of health each character has.
Mm-hmm.
Some I think have a little more than others, but it all kind of balances out. But then you get into the items, which boost stats in certain ways, and so you can build more tanky, more DPS. Not really support, but like you can build to heal yourself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you know, if you're going against 3, like 3 people, they all have the damage to kill you really quickly. So what you do to counter that, you build health, so you can try to tank more hits, or you can try to build your character to do a lot more damage so you can try to kill people faster.
Mm-hmm.
But then you'll just run into people who just have a lot of health and damage, and like there's a lot of health
Yeah.
or in characters with a lot of damage. And then teams can also like just build around someone having more damage, but if that person gets jumped on, then you're really screwed because now you can't fight anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's really annoying.
Yeah.
And even on like most characters that say are damage, even if you build into damage, tanks like, like Chuck, right? If they build even a little bit of like health, they can still deal a good amount of damage against you before
Mm-hmm.
even you can like DPS. So it's like super like unbalanced in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. It's the items like it's the items try to be there so you can have a build, but the build itself of like whatever your items are really aren't that important. Like
Hmm.
you kind of have to be smart with it, but they're really not. It's just like you kind of get
Just
bodied
color
by
choose.
teams.
If it's purple, get it.
Pre- yeah, like you'll be fine if
Yeah.
you follow that. So
And
I'm not
um.
saying like the game's easy. I'm coming more so from a perspective where it's like it's difficult for like solo players, and like you can try to like group up and like play with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like unless you're playing with people that you can have like really good comms with,
Mm-hmm.
like even today I was playing with somebody and we had really good comms. Like we were talking and we were having really good comms and stuff, but you still get bodied because like if any people decide gang up on you, there's nothing you can do. You can't really fight back. You can't really run because most characters go same speed
Mm-hmm.
unless you have boots that make you go faster, but can't really run. And then if you do run, then they just look at your teammate who doesn't have, most likely doesn't have speed, and they die, and then you're forced to go get res. Then you either die at res or you get them back, but now they don't have stuff, and so they'll just get bodied again. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of just like a never-ending loop of like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's still a fun game, and I hope it gets better over time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have anything else to play, so like it's fun enough to keep playing. The duos
Yeah.
are better because duos you can catch people out yourself, and you can actually 1v1, and so you can actually like fight people, and
Hmm.
you can win, like not win, but you can secure like fights better because
Yeah.
it's less people trying to team up you all at once.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The only other mechanic that I don't like is sometimes your character will swing, and you'd think if you're swinging in like that direction, if the other character's in front of you, it'll hit them. But
Hmm.
like I've noticed with like a bunch of the characters, like ones that aren't like anybody that's swinging or slashing or something, if it's
Hmm.
not like right where your cursor was, you can end up just literally missing them, even
Yeah,
if they're
that's
right in
happened to
front
me
of your
on
character.
Sashimi. I know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I was on Chuck, right? And I was fighting a froggy. He was getting bodied, and like we were like trading blows. We are like pretty even health. I
Hmm.
used Chuck's Q, which like he ramps up a punch and punches, and
Hmm.
I kid you not, it's like the kiddo is in front of me. I punch to in front of me, and it misses. I'm like, how? He's standing there. It should hit.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like I
A
so
little
I
bit
don't
of
know
hit
because I don't.
registry.
Yeah, it needs better registry. They have been hot fixing it though, and updating and changing lots of stuff and patching things this whole like closed beta though.
Hmm.
So like the devs are definitely not just like, oh, we have a beta, just have fun, play it out. Like
Yeah,
they seem pretty involved, so
that's good.
I assume it'll be good.
Yeah, and I'll say
Hmm.
that I think they did take a little bit of inspiration from a league, but
Definitely,
the
definitely.
stuff that balances a league, and I'm going to speak from kind of a weird position here, a
Hmm.
league player, is that there's the two different types. There's like the magic damage and the regular attack damage, and people build certain characters for each, and people build speed
Mm.
and certain boots and certain perks and certain whatevers for the different characters, and the complexity of it balances it out. Where I think like certain things on certain characters in League are just not viable. You just can't do it.
Hmm.
And I think that doesn't really exist in BAP. And so they're making it super hard to balance. Where like think about it this way: if Chuck, for example, gained plus 50 HP for every HP item he picked up, or plus 100 HP for every HP item he picked up, people who play
Hmm.
Chuck would most likely pick up armor items or HP items, and that would
Hmm.
in turn balance Chuck because people wouldn't choose AD, if that makes sense. If you're saying that Chuck is broken in a certain way, I'm just saying it as an example.
Right.
So you could say like Froggy would gain 50% bonus movement speed when he picked up movement boots. And so people wouldn't run attack boots on Froggy, they'd run movement boots because they want that, and so you'd lose some of
Yeah,
that
or they
attack.
wouldn't they wouldn't run crit boots
Exactly.
on.
So you'd have like
Uh,
you'd have some people who would run crit boots if crit boots were actually
Yeah,
better,
that's
but
that's
you'd get
that's
some
crit
balance.
boots are the probably the most unbalanced thing because
Yeah.
you have three items. There's
Mhm.
nothing else that gives crit, so you just run crit boots, and
Mhm.
it has like a chance to just do double damage
Yeah.
pretty
And so if you're playing
consistently.
Kiddo, you just cracked Froggy, you just
Playing
destroy him.
any character,
Yeah.
you can run a bunch of health and then have it run
Have
crit
the crit
boots.
chance, yeah, and you just keep
And
packing.
literally
Just
like
run people
purple and
over.
gold, almost every hit is gonna be doubled
Yeah.
basically, like double damage. And like
Mhm.
blue is very consistent. Even green, you can get some consistent
Yeah.
hits for double damage. So it's just
Um.
like that's like a super unbalanced item, and they don't have any other items like that are one off right now. Like they have the winged backpack, which it has thorns and then gives a bunch of health, which is
Mhm.
what you run on tanks because when people
Mhm.
attack you, it does damage
Yeah.
them. The whole thing. They don't have enough items though. Like if they added a bunch more items, that adds like a bunch of
Yeah.
different variants. Like okay, I
Mhm.
could run speed, but then there's just one that is a lot more like like add a bunch of good type of stuff. Like add a bunch
Mhm.
of different type of boots that are like the crit boots, but like different ones.
Yeah. Or
Cause
split the
like,
crit
cause
boots
like,
into two different things.
cause
Split
like
the difference
there's
between range and crit.
Cause in my opinion, there's like two
Um.
different ways to balance a game. There's make everything like weak in a sense that everything's all balanced, or just make every single thing OP to where nothing is OP because everything's OP.
Yeah, but you really don't want to go with power creep way. It's definitely probably not great. But yeah,
It's
so
not great, but it is a decent way to balance things, I'd say.
yeah.
If like everything is
Um,
OP.
But yeah, definitely that specifically. And then my one gripe I would say with the game is not be able to see the other people's items. Like you need to be able to see the other person's items. Like you need to see if the
Yeah, like
kiddo's
above their
running max
head.
HP and see if you can actually run them down. Because if they're max HP, you're not running
Yeah,
them down.
or just like show their health, like their health bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like
Like,
you can see the health above the bots, so I
hmm
know how much health I'm doing. Because then that at least adds complexity where I can start doing the math of if each of my hits are doing this, how many hits do I have to like
yeah,
I can
until you
do
kill
that
them.
math in
Yeah,
real time.
you can start
Because you do
stat
that,
checking them.
that's with like every like almost every esports game you can do that. Like
Hmm
Apex, you're running around, you shoot 50 of them, you're like, okay, they had blue, okay, they got 125 left. You just know
Yeah.
that. You
hmm
just off the top of the back you go, he has this much
In
left, and you
League, in
can
League, they actually show everything. They show your items, how much damage
right.
when you get killed. They show how much
And
damage you
this
did
game
with
is
the items and stuff.
they literally call their game like a casual game, like
Yeah,
despite having ranked. Like I think
despite
it's
having
kind of
ranked
like
only,
they
they should definitely
they
focus more
had
on the
they
ranked
had normal
side.
duos, but
I don't think
like
battle
this game
royales are.
could become competitive.
Yeah,
So
saying this from kind of a weird standpoint because obviously Fortnite.
mhm.
I don't think battle royales are inherently casual. I think battle royales are kind of designed to be competitive, like, in just the way they're built.
Right, because only one person that
Yeah,
can
only
win.
one team
So
wins in the end, and so you're trying to be that one team. But if it's a casual game, then that means
mhm,
people aren't going to be mad when they lose. And like the better example would be like Overwatch quick play. You know, like if you lose but you did okay because they balanced the teams, you did 1-1 and you lose the
mhm,
last point, you're not that upset, you know. Or like in quick play in Overwatch, it's like push the cart, you know. So if they push the cart all the way, then sad, you lost. But if you push the cart,
right.
halfway on your push turn, you're like, well, I
Mhm.
still pushed the cart halfway, so that's pretty good. You know, I got to play the game for a long time. So like, those are kind of inherently casual games where I feel like battle royales are not casual oriented, but just like the target
Yeah.
audience that kind of brought them in makes it more casual oriented. If that makes sense.
Maybe, but even then, yeah, they're not like a casual game mode. Like
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that they would choose casual side, but like again, yeah, if they're not trying to
like
add tons
like
of other things to fix
team
their game.
deathmatch or stuff like that, that's more casual because
Yeah, because you're with a team and your team can carry you, and you just have to kill people and respawn and
yeah, it's
stuff.
just yeah.
The
But
non the
when it's
non
like a
respawning and
but when
in these
it's like
games.
a you die, you're over, like new
Yeah,
round, go next. Like that's
it's
a
a
very
little,
competitive
it's a bit
because
more
it's either win
competitive.
or lose,
Yeah.
nothing in between,
hmm
right?
There's
It's
not
just
even
a
really
competitive
have
game
a
mode.
good
So
time in a battle royale unless you're winning, kind of thing, or unless you're doing like really good.
yeah,
Um,
like if you're getting a consistent amount of kills every game or something, or
yeah, then it's a bit more
there's something
fun. But
other than wins
no
that
one
you
likes getting
value, then
steamrolled and then not being able to get res and then dying. You know, like
right.
that part's not really casual. So,
Yeah,
though I've never really been much of a casual gamer, anyways. So I don't know why someone
right.
would choose to play a battle royale as far as a casual game. I think there's also just
Yeah.
like a lot of balancing stuff they need to do with BAP to make it competitive, if that makes sense. Like to make it less frustrating to play. One being show items, show health, show whatever.
Mhm.
Maybe add a sandbox mode so you can theory craft.
Yeah,
Um,
that's necessary.
like adding that would be crazy because like the menu in Spellbreak, you can grab any item you want. And you can just kind of theory craft stuff for the queue time, or while you're in
Mhm.
the lobby. Same idea, just do that. Like while you're in queue, I mean obviously the queues are super fast, but like add a sandbox or
Yeah,
add something like that where you can grab any
I think
item and you can
just the sandbox
just
mode like
check,
that just
and
would
you can
help. Yeah.
just see what your stuff does and or 1v1
Mhm.
people and or do whatever. Um,
Right.
and that all probably is just because it's a web based game. It's a little bit harder to implement than it would be if it was on Steam.
Yeah.
So it's still fun. Still fun. Give it a try.
Yeah.
We
Still a decent
peaked
game.
what, top 50, top 60,
Yeah.
something around there in the
Top
world.
6%
Top 6% in
in
the
the world
world. We'll
for
take
a
it
day.
for a day, and then we
Then
lost
they
it.
added more people,
Then
and
they
then
added a
it
ton more
started
people, and
going
then it was
down,
over
and
from
then
there.
more
But
people
like,
grinded because we stopped grinding.
but
So,
I'll take it.
you know,
We've got job. We got things to do. We've got podcasts to run.
yeah, we got businesses.
We got
businesses
web
to
shows to
handle.
do, man. We're kind of busy.
Very
Cool.
busy.
So I think that
Anyways,
covers
that's
those.
that's the beta talk. We talked for probably way too long on
Well,
it, but
I think that's completely fine.
All right, let's get into the spooky episode.
The spooky episode. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
The
No,
Halloween.
there's no music to add in here, but that's fine.
We'll add it in.
In post. Oh my
uh,
gosh.
anyways,
Cool.
so basically, I just want to talk today. Like, so obviously we have our new concept of show we want to like make videos on and do. So that's a new concept. We'll do that later, but leading up to that, I just want to talk about like horror games as genre, like horror kind of like as a genre, 'cause, like
Yeah.
it's Halloween and stuff.
Yeah.
Our our experiences with it, our thoughts on it, um, just different stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like I'll be honest, we wrote out a list
Some stuff.
of like games and stuff, and like every game on that list is like pretty much like a good game, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like
With
every
some
game has like
exceptions.
their pros and cons,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
of
like
course.
none of these games on this list are like, oh, that's bad.
They're not
Like
hyenas
that's just
games.
trash.
They're
Yeah.
okay.
They're like they're good games. Like Hello
They're
Neighbor.
solid.
Hello Neighbor is a solid game. Depending who you
Yeah,
ask,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, so if you
The
follow,
art
if you
style, the
followed it,
direction,
if you followed
the
it, then people would say it's a bad game. But if you didn't follow it and you just played the game when it came out, then people would say it's good.
I think if you played full release, like when it came out, it was bad. But if you're like playing it during like
Yeah,
during
yeah,
the
yeah.
time the alphas where a new alpha
Yeah,
would drop, it'd be a new house, a new thing to explore and do. That was like
that was
peak Hello
peak
Neighbor,
Hello Neighbor gameplay.
and like yeah, was that 2014 maybe? I don't even
I
know.
don't remember.
It was
It was
back a
long.
while
It was
ago.
long ago.
2014, 2016 maybe. I don't know. That was like peak Hello Neighbor, and that was really good because it was like a whole new idea about this AI that just learns everything everything you
Hmm.
do. Like I don't know. It's really cool. Yeah, Alien Isolation as well.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it last week.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So like, it's like that's what I mean. Like Phasmophobia, in my opinion, is a good game.
Yeah, I think so as well.
We don't play it much,
We don't play it much. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
but I think it's a good game. It makes good content. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what it's about. If you can make good content and people want to watch it, I'd say that makes a really good game. And most games on this list have that. Like
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight's a pretty good game. Um,
There's some things
I
that
mean,
are.
there's issues and
There's
stuff
always
made.
gonna be some
It's
things
not
lacking in some games, but yes.
right, but like for the
In
most
general.
part, it looks cool. It's like one
For
of
the
its
most
kind. It's
part, they have
innovative. It
solid
literally
stuff.
started like everything. Like so, that's good. The Forest is really cool.
So we
Five
should
Nights
maybe,
at Freddy's. We can't even say anything bad about it
yeah, it's
because I
true.
don't want to get hunted down.
Can we? Are we just gonna go down the list
Um,
and talk about some of the stuff, or are you just
yeah,
trying to get like a
we'll
basic
go in.
idea?
I'm just trying to like show off that like basically my point is like the horror like games genre and like horror kind of like as a whole. Man,
Mm-hmm.
we'll leave out media. We'll just say horror games seem
Yeah,
to be like one of the genres that have like the best stuff in it, I guess.
they're
Like
the most polished or the
there's
most.
some like the best games. Like there's some really trash indie like horror games, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's that with like every genre. So I don't know. I feel like some like the biggest, most popular stuff was in the horror game genre. And
Yeah.
obviously there's exceptions because it's games, but the point I'm trying to make is that it seems like it's a really good genre.
Mm-hmm.
um. So yeah, we just have a list of games.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
I think
so
we can kind of just like go down if you're trying to just
the
go down the
goal.
list.
Well, I don't mean just talking about games in specific. More so like we didn't add like discussion questions or anything, but like because like this is like preparing us for the next segment, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we should talk about like what makes these games good, what makes them bad,
Mm-hmm.
what makes these different types of medias good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe we go through what was innovative about them. We
Mm-hmm.
kind of just break them down, and then you know there's something on the tip of my tongue that like it's like a good talking point, I think.
Let's
Um,
see.
I don't know. I'll think of it
I
later.
gotta do it later. Makes sense.
Um, but I guess we can go like through the list. Like
Yeah.
I'm like almost thinking.
Greg
I
almost
almost have
thinking.
it. I
Okay, you
almost
can
have it.
think. I will talk.
Okay, you talk.
I will just start straight on Phasmophobia.
All right.
So let's see. My experience with Phasmophobia was about release. I think it was release. Maybe a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
so I bought like everybody
Yeah, you bought it for all the people
Phasmophobia.
because you want everyone to
And
play it.
like yeah, because I saw I want to play. So Phasmophobia came out after Among Us like started to die, and
Did
it
it? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was coming. It came out like around then, and so people were starting to play that because it was like kind of riding off the back of everyone wants to just play together now because of
Yeah.
Among Us. Um,
It was a big
and
collab game.
yeah, and like that's kind of where content was for a while after Phasmophobia, and then Phasmophobia started dying because no one really wanted to play it anymore, and then so Phasmophobia was out, and people were like, oh, it seems like fun content, right? Um, and I think it's honestly like pretty good. It's jank, right? There's some jank things about it,
Yeah.
but a lot of the systems from like a game development standpoint are like pretty intricate,
Yeah.
like just having all the interactions and stuff and how things are triggered and all of that, like making systems like that like just kind of hurts my brain on how you go about and like
Yeah.
actually make that. And I don't know if it was made in Unreal or Unity. I don't think that matters, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting game. And
I
I think
will say one of my biggest gripes
yeah,
is how nasty it looks. Like
like what do you mean?
it looks like Quake 3.
Really?
It just like looks
When we
awful.
played it,
Yeah, but like think about like I
maybe
mean
they updated it because like it looks
maybe I
pretty
haven't played it in a
good. It looks
while.
decent.
I don't know. The graphics and the textures and everything just look really bad to me. Maybe it's a I don't know. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I mean I came from playing like, you know, the even The Witcher, like The Witcher looked kind of meh. Like people were saying, "Oh, The Witcher looks great." I don't know. The Witcher kind of like meh. Like the
Yeah.
new freaking Unreal, you know, Mega Scan,
Yeah,
cracked
Unreal
looking
5
games.
Megascan stuff
Like
is just
that is too good, I guess.
tarnished.
I'm just
Yeah.
spoiled now, but like I don't know. Phasmophobia just looked gross to me. But
I see.
the rest, I mean, maybe it's also so to fit into VR, and VR was like the exact same, maybe something like that. Like same
Mm,
with the Forest. The Forest also kind of has like meh graphics, but that's also just because it's
yeah.
a lot of years old, 4 or 5.
That's true. The Forest is very old, so
But
it
so is
makes sense.
Phasmophobia, I think, or no, maybe not as old. So maybe not much of an excuse. But that was just
Well,
my one
the Forest
gripe
is
with it.
8 years old, by the way.
Okay. So
It came
yeah,
out in 2014.
so yeah, it's warranted.
Yeah.
That means I'm hoping that the Forest 2 looks correct.
Yeah, the Forest.
If the Forest 2
Forest
looks
2.
really good, then I'll be super happy and I'll play it all the
I
time.
think we'll play it regardless, but
But it gotta be look real nice.
it
You
has
know,
to have
otherwise I'm not
VR.
playing it.
That's the only
It'll have
way
VR,
I'll
I
play it.
think.
I think it's
Um,
already confirmed, but it needs to have VR. That's the
it
only way I'll play
feels
it.
like
Um,
it feels like a port of an ancient game, like just the Forest in general. Just trying to play it, it feels old,
well, yeah, 'cause it is.
but
It's
it like
very
looks
old.
older than it feels, and feels older than it looks. If that makes sense, like just both.
Maybe I don't know.
Like the graphics seem
I
there
don't
for
know.
8 years ago, but at the same time they
Right.
don't. And like the feel of the game feels like a game that was built 20 years ago. Like just the interactions and stuff just feel like it was a AAA title for you know, the 750, the GTX 750 GPU, you know.
Mm.
Like it
You
just
have your
feels
settings cranked down or something. I don't know.
no, I don't know. Just
I thought it was
they were maxed. Like I don't know.
decent.
I judge games pretty harshly for what their textures look like.
Yeah,
Um,
I think gameplay wise, it's pretty good.
yeah, gameplay
Like
wise,
there's
the
pretty
Forest is
good
pretty
stuff
good.
in there.
But yeah, back to
I
Phasmophobia.
like when they don't let you limit like your gameplay. Like that's kind of like our
Yeah.
whole idea behind our studio.
Mhm.
Like the fact that we could chop down the tree our tree house is in and just destroys
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
is
yeah,
great.
yeah. Or the
Like
trees
when it
just
just
like
lets you
fall
make
on
mistakes.
whatever. It's yeah.
Yeah.
It could have gotten harder, and obviously we didn't play it enough to get it harder. You said
Oh yeah,
specifically,
we didn't even get to any
but it
story.
wasn't
Like
close.
we didn't
Yeah,
play any
we
story, and
played it like Rust. We played it like Rust.
it
So
gets very hard and like
because it didn't feel
very
hard.
very scary
It feels
later.
grindy. It feels grindy, if anything. Less
No,
grindy than
you
Rust, but
just have to go do the story.
I
Like you don't
see.
have to build a fort or a base. It's just
Yeah.
it's survival game with like a story dig into it, and so like for like the game as a whole with the stories, I know the story. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know the story, but unless you do, but
No.
I know the story, and I know the story's good. Like it's a good story,
Mm-hmm.
and like there's a lot of really cool stuff you get to do later and see later, which is
Mm-hmm.
really cool. So it's pretty good, but just the plain survival of it needs more work. I think if it was trying to
Yeah.
be a full survival game and it didn't have the story,
Mm-hmm.
but since I know the story, it's a lot better in my mind.
I
I
see.
think.
Yeah.
Um,
Phasmophobia though doesn't have a story. Phasmophobia is just instant. Like,
it's just gameplay.
it lacks. I feel like it lacks replayability, but at the same time it doesn't. If that makes sense.
Well, no, because everything is random every time you
Everything's
load
random
in.
except for the house.
The victim is random. Well, the house is random too. Generators can spawn for like the lights can spawn in different
That's true.
areas.
They do spawn in different areas, but
Items
the
can spawn in different areas.
general map you choose is
Different
the same.
ghosts. Yeah,
Uh,
but they've been working on it. There's a lot more maps
okay.
now.
Yeah, I haven't played it
There's like a lot
recently,
more
so it
maps.
might have been
Yeah,
better. But
maybe
as
we
far
should.
as my
It'll be fun.
original experience playing it,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. The OG experience a while ago.
it
It's
reminded me a
gotten
little bit of
better.
like an old mobile horror game. um,
um,
but yeah, in general, I thought it was okay. I thought the concept was pretty cool. I thought that it
mhm.
kind of went like a bit long. Like you'd have to wait like a long time before getting killed, if that makes sense. Like it
You just
definitely.
mean before like a ghost hunted or?
Yeah, like so you'd find all the clues, but the ghost wouldn't kill you until like way later.
Yeah, well, so that's like kind of part of like all their systems and like that's kind of what I want to talk about this game because this game has a lot of different like systems,
Mm-hmm.
like put into it. Like each ghost has its own like personality type of like
Mm-hmm.
how
What
it
they
hunts,
like,
when
what
it
they don't like.
hunts, yeah, how aggressive it is, how less aggressive it is, and it all kind of like bakes into the clues of you trying to find them. It's like
Mm-hmm.
your gameplay. It's like, okay, what's happening? There hasn't been a ghost hunt yet, so maybe it's this ghost because it doesn't like hunting in groups
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
doesn't hunt for a while. And there's a bunch of different stuff to it. I do agree it did like take a little while for it to
Mm-hmm.
start hunting, but I feel like at the same time it's decent because you have to explore the whole house, explore regenerate
Yeah.
stuff. You don't want to like walk in and start getting hunted immediately because then
Mm-hmm.
it would get too hard. We also didn't play on like a hard. There's different difficulties,
We played. I
so
played on a harder difficulty once.
I don't know who you
Um.
played
Let's
with
see.
because I think we just played on normal.
Um.
Unless we played hard.
We
Like,
played it
did we
hard a couple of
revisit it?
times. We've
We
we've revisited
revisited
it
it
before. Yeah, we played harder
recently.
difficulty.
I played it in VR and it was fun.
Yeah, I haven't played in VR, and so maybe it's a bit more scary. But yeah, I also didn't see it being super scary. Besides the
Well,
one
this
house
is
that had the garage and the lights were always
yeah.
off. That was the only part that was kind of like scary. The rest of it was kind of just like, oh, let's run in and be very logical about this and find out if the
It's
sink
definitely
has blood in it, and
it's definitely scarier in VR for sure.
yeah.
But I think that's something like for most people, I feel like most horror games are not that scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the time, like, cause like obviously me and you don't believe in ghosts. We're like pretty logical thinkers, and so
Yeah,
as we're just like, oh, it's a game.
it's a game.
Cool,
Walk around, press WASD.
cool. I'm getting hunted by a
Now,
ghost. Oh, I got killed.
I will
Great.
say, something
Like the only
about.
thing that really, like, cause like I don't have like fear of clowns or like ghosts or
I have
anything,
that.
right? Like I don't have like
A lot of
phobias like that, I
phobias that are
guess.
abused
So the
in
only
horror
thing that would like
games.
scare me is like a jump scare, which doesn't really count as a scare because it's just a jump scare, like oh, I got startled kind of
Yeah.
scares.
Mm-hmm. They're
And
not like
those are more like fun kind of like scares, like oh,
they're
jump
not like
scare,
long-term
great.
terrors that you have to deal with throughout the game.
Yeah, so like and like most games when get played from a business like standpoint. Like your game can't be too scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, no one's gonna play your game,
I mean,
and
tell that to
you
people who
can't
played the line game. You know.
what?
You know the game with the line, and you have to like move the box through the maze, and when it reaches the end, the scary face comes out and scares people, and people
Oh,
punch holes in their monitor. Everyone played that game. That game was very
I
popular, being
the
super
only
scary.
the only thing I know, I've seen like it was like kids and like it's just on a TV and the dot's just going and so there's like the kids will just be like tracing it on the TV and at the end like the
Yeah,
jump
the
scare
face, and they
happens
they
and
fall or
they just
something.
like fall and it's like
Yeah, I saw the one where the guy
start
punches
crying.
a
It's
hole in his
great.
monitor. So that was the most popular one, I think. But
Yeah, so it's just like jump scares, but
yeah, so
the most
yeah,
scary.
one thing I
But
will say about VR in general, at least for me,
yeah,
and the reason why I prefer Beat
mhm.
Saber a lot, and I think I probably told you this before, is like
Just because motion
the
sick
one
or
thing that
what?
just kills the immersion for me is the fact that there's no like actual walking. And like the
I
fact that
see.
at least in my space, I don't want to punch a hole in the wall. I've done that before. Um Not proud of it,
Yeah.
and it hurts. And so like I tend also not to do the spin around thing where you actually have a kind of a full 360 around you. I tend to try to look straight forward, and so I use the
I
arrow
see.
stick to move around, and use the other joystick to look around or whatever. That's not to say I don't move my head back and forth, but I just do
Mhm.
it less than probably the average Joe who's just on an
Oh
unlocked
yeah, I
quest
get fully
to,
immersed. I like to
or yeah.
go
And
walking
so
around, moving through
the
it,
thing
like
that messes me up
doing
specifically is that
stuff.
there's no good like walking, and so like especially I think it's gonna
Yeah.
also happen in horror games, is that if I do play a horror game in VR, it's just the immersion is gonna be broken immediately because I'm using a
It's
control
more
stick to
immersive.
walk.
It,
It's probably
it's
more
still
immersive than
it's still
the
very
monitor,
immersive,
yeah. But at least for
but
me, most of the immersion is broken when I do the walking around with the control stick.
mhm.
Versus like I feel like in Beat Saber I get a lot more immersed because there is none, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that Beat Saber is a perfect game or whatever. Just Beat Saber lacks the one thing that kills VR for me.
Mhm.
So we'll have to
Yeah.
see. I want to
And
get one of those running
and then there's
things.
like other games like Hello Neighbor and stuff that are in like the horror genre, but they're not
Yeah,
like actual like
they're definitely less
um
horror-y.
yeah, it's more like a puzzle game and
Yeah,
like
but it
yeah,
does fit like the
it is
creepy
like the
aspect of horror.
yeah, like it still fits in, but it's not, scary,
It fits the
You don't get
genre
scared.
of like horror game YouTubers playing the game.
Yeah.
So, whatever you
Yeah.
constitute that as.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of
I mean, we
experience
already
outside of the beta or the
mhm,
alpha or whatever of
mhm.
Hello Neighbor. I just knew that it kind of got a little bit worse during release, and I never played it after that. Um,
Yeah.
I did like the puzzle aspect of it a little bit. That was kind of fun. And then it had the AI that would
Mhm.
learn, and it would like kind of
Yeah, the
block you
AI
from
that
certain
learned was really
spots,
cool.
and that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Kind of a first of its kind, but personally, I think it could have been like if it was implemented by not the art style of Hello Neighbor, or not like the puzzle game version of Hello Neighbor, if that makes sense, like more or less like a
Mhm.
horror game. Um, I think it could have not done better because it did pretty well, but just be
Mhm.
more kind of more my forte if I'm looking for an
It
actual
would, yeah,
horror
it
game.
would be a lot more scary if it
Yeah.
was like much more real because
Mhm.
like the main scary part is when you get chased by the neighbor. That's like the entire scary thing. Like
Yeah.
the scary music plays, you can see him. He goes, huh,
Just running
and he's
after you.
chasing you. And it's
Yeah.
like
You
don't.
don't want to get reset.
That's not the exact sound, but it's like it's pretty close.
The Jaws theme.
There's there's like a there's like a loud like siren that like blares on.
Yeah.
It's not exactly siren, but like you get my mean if you've heard like the chasing theme, like
Mhm.
you get chased.
Yeah.
And then like there's security cameras and there was like so much like, stuff, and it's like
Mhm.
if it was like an actual like if it was like more realistic, like if you used metahumans and
That'd be
oh my,
scary, dude. Imagine
it'd be
like
scary
metahuman
because like it's
corpses.
just AI that just chases you. Oh, and
Yeah.
that'd be terrifying.
Was there
That
actually
would
never an
like
ending?
legitimately be.
No, there
Yeah,
wasn't. Well,
there's whole for the full release. There's an entire
I thought I
ending.
saw the ending for the full release, but it was like really
There's
weird.
an entire ending. It is weird. is
Yeah,
very weird.
it kind of felt like it was. If I'm
Most of
thinking
it
about the
doesn't
right
make
ending,
sense
it
to
doesn't.
me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense and doesn't really fit, I guess, into horror, if that makes sense.
I think that ending would.
Yeah, I
That
don't know.
ending,
I would
yeah, it
have
was
liked for it to be.
very
I would say the pros of the game:
interesting.
AI, very cool. It being a puzzle
Mhm.
game makes me like it. Cons just being the art style and just the way that it was portrayed. But other than that, I think it's a
Yeah,
pretty solid game.
I think we already talked about the forest. We can go
Talk
into
about the
like Dead by
forest. Dead
Daylight.
by Daylight. I don't
I
like
liked.
grindy. I don't like
I
grindy.
like Dead by Daylight.
And also, there's no
Dead by
ranked.
Daylight.
And
Dead
there's
by
no
Daylight is very fun.
ranked.
It's not scary,
No
and so it's just
ranked.
very. It's
It's
like,
scary.
like the style. The style is like, I like the style of it. Like
The
it's
style
super
of it's
like
good.
chill. Like when I first played it, like oh, this is a chill game. This is cool.
I wish it was competitive. I wish there was not
Uh,
consumables. I wish there was like not better perks, but like I don't know. The game is just as hard to pick up as I would say League is, to an extent. You
definitely a
can
lot less.
you
Definitely a
can
lot
learn
less.
League in 24 hours, and I think you can
No,
also probably learn Dead by Daylight in 24 hours. You wouldn't be able to play it well by any means, but you'd be able to learn it at least.
well,
And
it
I feel
takes
like probably
much less to learn Dead by Daylight.
I don't know. I
But
have like over 10 hours, and I still have no idea what's going on. Like I
okay,
know
let's.
go and
Well,
hit
you're just bad.
go
So
and hit the generator and do the thing, and then it work, and then you run to the exit. Like I don't have any of the maps memorized or any of that stuff, or any of the perks or any of the characters. Like the
yeah,
grindability in the game is just a little bit hard, and the fact there's no ranked both bother me because it could be a competitive game, but it's just not.
there
And
is a
then,
ranking system. It's just like the general
but it's
gameplay
just your
is the
level.
ranking.
The ranking system is like your
No,
level.
there's a level, and then like there's a character level, and then there's a ranked level that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
resets,
But
and
once
that's
you hit
it,
rank 20,
and
then you're
goes up.
just that's just it. You're just
No,
done.
that's just your character level. There's like an actual ranking system
Hmm. Okay.
that you move up through, and then I think it places you with harder people. But there's not like a specific mode to play ranked.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like skill-based matchmaking, and that's it.
Mhm. And I wish you
Um,
could. One second. I wish you could queue as, like, with your friend, and your friend could play
Survivor, and
and
you
you could
play
play the
monster.
monster. Because then you could jump scare your own friend, and that'd be great, right?
Yeah.
And like, if there wanted to be a competitive scene for Dead by Daylight, they could easily have a league. Think about it. Have a team
Maybe.
of 5 people,
I
and
think
like,
already tried proposing this at one point
yeah,
for
I don't know. You have like a team,
making like a pro esports scene
a
for it.
competitive Dead by Daylight. Is there even a custom game
Because
for Dead by Daylight?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's how you play the survivors in the like get your
Yeah.
friend to play survivor and you
Yeah, but then you have
play
to get a full
monster.
lobby. You, like 5 people, you have one person be the monster only, and then the other 4 people are survivors, and then you go back and forth on your teams.
Yeah,
And
so
it'd be sick.
you just have like a roster of like monsters, and you have a roster of your survivors, and each
Yeah,
team
and then you
has
pick,
those, and
yeah, and you pick
then they
one, and then
just
you
like
send them in. Yeah,
yeah.
you can counterpick people. It'd be great.
Mhm.
I would say the good about Dead by Daylight for me is trying to think specifically about stuff that I like. I like the pacing. I say the pacing's pretty good. Of the games, the matches are pretty decent.
Mhm.
Queues are pretty long.
Yeah.
The cons I would say is the fact that there just isn't a ranked mode where it kind of feels like a ranked game, but it's just like not. You know.
Yeah.
That's definitely like when you look at Dead by Daylight, at least for me, I'm like, oh, that could be a very competitive game, and then I boot it up and it's like, in no way, shape, or form competitive in any way, shape, or form. At least in like the vision that they have for the game or the way they're kind of pushing it, and then also like all the grindability and not pay to win because they give you all the best hunters, but allowing at least like a free rotation of hunters, so you can always try out the ones you're gonna pay real money for. You can only play 4 or 5 or whatever it is now. It's like what 20
Yeah,
in the game.
there's some pay to win.
There's like
game.
20 in the game. I mean, people just say they give you all the best ones, and I do believe them when they say that.
Sometimes the best hunter perk is one of the best that's used a lot is Jolt, and that was
Yeah.
a perk that was part of the Stranger Things thing. It came with the
Okay.
Demogorgon,
Mm-hmm.
but since then they discontinued the Demogorgon and put the perk just available
Yeah.
into
Well, I know Wraith
all
or
the
whatever is
hunters
like the best
bloodlines,
one.
but I don't
because
know how updated that is, but it
I
is.
don't know. People were saying
They're
like
okay.
that they try to keep the game not pay to win, where they make all the best hunters or monsters the ones that are free, they're unlocked. But I still want to play whoever I want to play. If I want to play the clown, or if I want to play
Yeah.
the pig character, the
They should
worst
just
character in the
have
game.
a free
At
rotation,
least have a
especially since
re-rotation to
people
rotate
already have to
around.
pay to play the game.
Yeah, you already have to buy it. It's not free to play. It's not Rocket League anymore. They didn't switch it,
Yeah.
so you still have to buy the game. But now it's like EA.
Mhm.
So I don't know. What
It
about
is.
you?
It is.
Having more experience in the
Um.
game.
Yeah. Overall, I think game's good. Gameplay's fun. It doesn't take that long to learn. I played a lot of Hunter, like like just a Hunter.
Yeah.
Played a lot of it. I don't know how many hours I have, but I have quite a few. It's pretty fun. It's good gameplay. It's fun. There's a lot of mind games that go on and that happens,
That's
and the
true.
mind games are really fun. It's a really fun part of it. I enjoy being like the one that can kind of like pop up and scare people. That's pretty fun. But I don't know. It's kind of just a chill game.
I see.
Weirdly enough, like it's just chill. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. So we got a few more. We got obviously Five Nights at Freddy's, probably the biggest horror franchise
Is
to
there a
exist.
VR version of Five Nights?
Yes, it's called Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted.
Is that one good?
Quality wise, yes. Scary
Because
wise, yes. It's very
okay,
good. You kind of you would like it. It's kind of you just stand there and do
yeah, because that's
stuff.
what I was saying. Like at least in the OG games that I played,
It's
you just
is
you go through your
very scary.
cams, you stay in the
It's
same
very
room,
scary. It's
you wait till
very
they
scary.
kill you. Like
The doors are a lot bigger than when it's on a flat computer screen.
yeah, all I know is like
It's like
the original
ooh,
ones.
it's freaky.
The original ones were just you sit at your desk, you look through your
Hmm.
cabinet, you look through the cameras, you find the monsters. The monsters come, they kill you. That's just the gameplay.
Hmm. If
And
I'm
there's not
being
much moving
honest,
around. And so like if the
Five Nights
VR
at
version's
Freddy's
good,
is probably the most scary horror game in the horror genre, and it's
yeah.
because of two factors. One, it has AI kind of like Hello Neighbor, right?
Yeah.
AI characters. Maybe not in the older ones, in like the first or two,
The first
maybe
ones are pretty
three.
predictable, but they're
But
still
but
pretty
the new
scary.
one, Security Breach that came out has like an '80s theme.
Mhm.
Um, and the characters kind of just roam around the entire space when you're stuck in like a big super mall basically,
Okay, yeah.
like '80s themed Five Nights at Freddy's super mall.
Mhm.
Have you seen anything on Security Breach?
No.
Okay. Um, well, you're stuck in here, and it has all like the characters, and
Yeah.
basically like the whole like kind of basis of the game is like you're a kid that it's much more a story than like the other ones have been. It's much more you
Yeah.
move around, you go do stuff. Um, but so like it's basically like you're a kid, you got stuck in the mall overnight, and you have all and it's like, oh, there's someone running around in the mall. We have to find them, and so it has
Mhm.
all of the other characters except for Freddy, because Freddy's your friend at the start. So you have
Mhm.
like a Freddy that moves around with you. Um, I could go into super detail, but basically all these characters they're placed around the entire base, and they're kind of like there's a character for every segment you go into. So like if you're
Mhm.
in this part of the open mall, there'll be every character will have a spot in there. And if you move to another segment of the mall, they like
Mhm.
replace the characters down there. So you
I
always
see.
have like a run in with them, and then they have like their own AI. They're kind of more
Yeah.
like a line of sight AI though.
Oh,
Kind
like
of
a
they'll chase you when
Pokemon.
kind of they'll like start basically they'll just like start chasing you if they see
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Um and like that. And so I don't know. It's AI but not really AI. It is AI, but
Yeah.
it's not like Hello Neighbor like oh they're setting up traps,
Yeah, to catch you when you go through the window.
which would be cool. But it's like there's that like the AI getting chased aspect part of
Mhm.
it that's been the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and like the first games were solely built on the fact that you'll get jump scared, right?
Yeah.
So they put like a very immersive, sound design. It's dark, it's spooky. You kind of when you're playing it, you
Mhm.
kind of get those vibes, and then boom, you're hit with a jump scare, and it's like yeah, it's just that's why it's a scary a scary game. Like
Yeah.
it's all about the jump scares basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're like a huge franchise. There's all like the background lore behind it too. Like
Yeah.
there's tons of lore, like tons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like super into it at all because too much and I don't really care. But you know,
Yeah,
you
makes
know,
sense.
but it's there, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So yeah, I don't know what your thoughts or your opinions
Um,
are on it.
I would say I've only played like the older ones,
Hmm.
and just like yeah, they were built not necessarily for like. I feel like the hype of Five Nights at Freddy's definitely was built around the three big the big three of YouTube at the
Yeah, the
time. You know,
Markiplier,
Jacksepticeye
Jacksepticeye,
and PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say
Did you
like the
play him?
fourth one be like Dan TDM, but like he didn't play horror games, so you can't really count
Yeah,
him. But he
the
was one of the big.
the main one for Five Nights at least was Markiplier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
how he got his start.
yeah. And
Uh-huh.
I would say watching his content was more fun than playing the actual game.
Of course, you want to
Um,
see the YouTuber get scared.
you
You don't
want to
want to
see
get
the
scared
YouTube. Yeah, you don't
yourself.
get scared exactly. So,
So,
um, but
yeah.
for me, definitely, I felt like I played him and I watched him, and I was like, watching him is more fun than playing them.
Right.
But as of my experience with them, I would say yeah, they're pretty top tier.
Mhm.
As far as horror games go. Not a big fan of the art style. I don't really like animatronics anyways, so it's kind of already like a deterrent. Not because like I'd enjoy the game, because I actually just really dislike it. Um, so, but I tried it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving
They're
on
kind of
to
just
like the back room,
yeah. So, basically, the only reason I want to bring this up, not like a specific game, but just kind of like
the idea,
yeah,
because there
there's
is
a
a game, but
specific
that's
guy
not really what
that
we're talking about.
yeah, that did it. But basically, the whole idea behind the back rooms is like you got sucked into the back rooms and it's just endless like endless rooms of just like this white colored like you have like office ceiling tiles, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then like carpet on the ground and just
Beige
endless like
walls.
yellow like wallpaper on the walls and
Yeah.
like the whole point behind it and why like I don't really find it that scary. Like it'd be scary if I got, plopped down in there because
Mm-hmm.
why am I there? But it's not that scary for me. But some people find it scary and they find it scary because I don't know if it's like an actual phobia, but
I
it's
think it
kind of
probably
like
is.
something called subliminal space, which is like like they sit in like the uncanny valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like fully empty grocery stores, like lights aren't working or stuff like that. Or maybe they are just like a fully empty grocery store. No
Mm-hmm.
like produce or anything, like just fully
Yeah.
empty and you'd look and you go, "Oh, that's weird. That shouldn't be a thing," you know? Like or like just completely empty office building. Just stuff like that like it's just empty for like no reason, but like they shouldn't be empty and then that they are empty, but something
Mm-hmm.
you recognize and so it like crosses this like uncanny valley kind of thing. And that's kind of like how the backrooms was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like some of the other inspiration behind the backrooms was like SDP and like copy pasta stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, Stuff kind of like Slenderman and stuff like that.
Ooh,
Like that's an
Slenderman.
old game, and
That's
that's like a
ancient,
scary
dude.
one. Yeah, that's very
That's
ancient.
ancient.
Yeah.
That brings back the old memories.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too into SCP and stuff like that. It's just kind of
Yeah, not much.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I know the basic like idea, um, but outside of that,
Yeah.
they're cool. I guess like Kaifosa is just like user generated creatures. I think pretty much,
Yeah.
and like SCP. I think I could be totally wrong, but I think it's just like a database of those
I
um
think so. Yeah. I
of
haven't
those
looked into it a lot,
copy
so.
pastas. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, that was definitely like the influence behind the back rooms for
Makes
those
sense.
things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, lastly, kind of
Yeah, so we can talk about Stranger Things. It's kind of like the biggest widely accepted horror genre. Um,
show.
yeah, kind of like the biggest
Was it a
one, I
horror
guess.
when it started out, or was it more just like a mystery?
Yes. No, it was a
What was
horror.
it? Are you
It's been
sure?
horror from this. I rewatched the entire thing. It's definitely horror from the
Definitely
start.
horror from the start.
The first season is the scariest.
Okay.
That's why I say that. Like the first season is
Cause
my favorite and the scariest and the coolest, and I think it's because they had a lower budget, and so they started to do
yeah.
more camera tricks. Like that's like the thing. This could be a whole nother segment, so I'll just briefly
Mhm.
touch on it. But like the thing with shows is like the first few scenes are always the best, and they get worse as they go. And like
mhm.
like the Flash, for example.
Yeah.
First season, really good. Want to know
Mhm.
why? It's because they didn't have budget, so a lot of their stuff was like camera tricks and doing things that were a lot more creative than just, hey, let's slap some CGI and effects at it and hope
And hope it works good and
like
works. Yeah.
like they did more planning and like made more shots. Like the shots felt more intentionful. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They had more purpose. It felt like, and like I don't know, everything just looked better, and I think it's because of lack of budget and like the same thing with like season one of Stranger Things. I'm sure they had a budget, but not as big as they do now,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And like, so like for most of season one of Stranger Things, they never showed the actual monster. They had
Mhm.
sound design and did stuff which added suspense because you didn't really know what was happening. It was kind of like
Mhm.
all part of the
That's how I
mystery.
was thinking. It was more
And
of a
like it
mystery
would
than a
do
horror.
yeah, it would do jump
Uh,
scares. But then towards the end, like when it was leading up to the finale, you would start to see it, and they looked good because I
mhm.
assume they saved their budget specifically for that. And that just happens with like smart planning, right?
yeah.
That's why.
But if you have so
That's
much
not.
money, you don't
I'm
really
not
need to
saying.
plan.
I'm not saying like all the other seasons of Stranger Things are bad. I just think
I'd,
the first one is
I'd
the
second the
best.
notion to the latest season being bad.
The late season is good. I don't know what you
Mm,
mean.
I don't
It's
know.
been the best season in like 2 seasons.
Maybe. I mean, I haven't.
It's better than three in
I've only
three and
watched a
two.
little bit of every season outside the first one, which I watched all. So.
I see. You kind of to appreciate every season for what they are. You have to kind of watch the entire thing because it all builds on each other and leads up. I'd
Yeah.
say, like, so like try and look at it from like a perspective. I think season four is a little all over the place in
I pretty much
comparison
watched all of
because
season
there's
four, thinking back
yeah
on
because
it.
there's not a lot of backstory per se that gets explained because they don't have to because they've been going for multiple
Yeah.
seasons and it's kind of been built up over time.
All I would have to
I don't
say
know.
against season four is that the budget was so large that the story couldn't have been bad, but it ended up being bad in my opinion.
I don't
Um,
think the story was bad at all.
it was just super
If I'm
predictable and
being
just
honest,
like
I
his
guess
character was just awful in my opinion. Like
who's which character?
V, whatever his name
Vecna.
is,
Yeah.
Vecna. One, his name is awful. Two, he looks awful. He looks like the Grinch. Everyone said it. Everyone knows it. He looks like the Grinch. Okay.
Yeah.
Like they have so much
Yeah. I
money, they
didn't.
could have done so much better. They could have kept him in the same, but made him more like like the
Well,
failure
a
that
lot of
was
that. A
Fantastic
lot of
Four.
that. A lot of that was real stuff.
They they
Like
put on real
like his
vines.
yeah. Like all like a
I mean,
lot of his
they
suit was
could
like
they should have just done it
real.
CG. It would have looked better. They had the
Maybe
budget
it was
for
like a
it.
lot of real and then like CG.
Do you know
And
like
so
the
I think they
really
put a lot of
bad?
effort
Do you
into
remember the
it,
really
but
bad Fantastic Four movie that they tried to do the remake? I forget.
maybe
I
I
think it
haven't
was
seen
Jamie
like many of
Foxx
them.
as the fire guy. I'm trying to remember.
Uh,
I could be completely wrong with that though.
I
It
don't
was
know.
whatever. Well, they had
I
Doctor
don't
Doom. They
know.
had Doctor Doom, right? And Doctor Doom was the guy
Yeah.
who got left on the planet, or the guy who got his mask
Right.
that like fused to his face, and that was like the backstory. And like both the Fantastic Four
Mhm.
movies. So in the new one or whatever, they made him like he got trapped on the island. He got trapped on the moon, and so then he learned to like harvest the energy from it, and that's how he like
Mhm.
burned himself everywhere. And like his character, for how small of a budget they had for that movie, and as bad as that movie was, I think his character was just better than Vecna.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously they had comics to go off of and whatever else, but like
Yeah, they have a
they
lot of
had
stuff.
Vine Man versus like they could have done a little bit better, I think personally, as far as the changing.
Yeah.
They could have made him more human. They could have made him more like devolved, deformed human than like the cop out. I think that was the Grinch.
Maybe I think they had a
It just
lot.
wasn't
I've seen a
scary.
lot of background stuff. Yeah, his character was not like horrifying. Like they could have gone more gory, I think, and that
They
would
could
have
have
fixed a
like
lot of
they could have made
stuff.
chunks in his jaw, and you could like in his cheek, and you could like see his teeth, like Attack on Titan. You know,
Maybe I think they could have for sure done more in that department.
I think
I
that
don't
was one of
know.
the main things that kind of just killed it for me. Not
I
it
see.
was scary in some points in time. There were points that were scary, but other points like
Yeah,
it was
like
just
the
kind of
limb
just like
snapping. It's kind of
that
like,
part wasn't
oh,
scary. It was just like
not scary, but
gruesome
just
for
like
no reason. Like
I thought it was good. I was
it just
not
kind of
like
seemed
as
like
creepy as.
unwarranted. It was just kind of like a flex on budget, but then like they released the villain, and then it wasn't really a flex on budget, and so that was kind of my problem. But the first season of
What
Stranger
I
Things was
think
pretty good.
what killed Vecna is like, cause at the start he didn't look that bad, right? Like when you see him, like when he's attacking Christy, like he didn't. Like in your opinion, might have looked great, but I thought that because they weren't fully showing all
Yeah,
of
he didn't
them,
look as bad.
right?
He didn't look as bad.
He
They were
didn't, he didn't
hiding
look
it.
that.
They were
Like
hiding
for
it.
part one, they're like hiding it more and like I said, doing the camera tricks and stuff and like being more mysterious
Yeah.
about it. But once like at the end scene when he's just like hanging there and they're like flamethrowering him in his attic, like that part looks
Yeah.
like everything else looked really good. Like all of the upside down, all of that
Yeah, I
looked
would
really
say they
good.
all look pretty good. Yeah.
Like the scene where they're like where like Eddie's on his like car in like the upside down in the concert. It's probably like the coolest scene ever from like the entire show. Like I thought it was really sick,
Maybe.
but
Yeah.
it was very good. I have a feeling you didn't see that part.
I think I have.
Okay. It was very good.
Yeah, like it's
So,
amazing. I don't know. I definitely
very
went
good.
into it with a judgeful eye. So
Yeah, you also don't like things that are hyped up. So I think you
I'm very much an
automatically just
anti-hype
look at
person.
it.
So
You just
yeah.
look at it like, this
But
doesn't
I
really
don't.
deserve as much
It
hype.
definitely didn't deserve. I
I
personally
look at them
definitely
for
didn't for
like
what
the
they
series
are.
for what for
I don't
what
know.
what it is, what the series is.
I didn't
I
like
like
Squid
it.
Game. Didn't like Stranger
I didn't
Things.
watch Squid Game because
Don't like
too
anything
hype.
that Netflix produces. Didn't like Cyberpunk Edge
Yeah, I
Runners.
don't watch.
Like
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of
it's
like
like
stuff.
you just hate on everything
Stranger Things
that
is
Netflix
like
makes. Netflix makes a new show. I hate it. It's awful. It's
yeah.
awful.
Stranger Things in my opinion is really good for horror, but it's not. It's because it's not horror to me. Like it's not horror. It's more thriller, in my opinion,
Yeah, that's true.
at least, because it's not really scary to me. But I don't know. It's just cool. It's thriller.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah, I don't know. I really like the series and like all the characters they built up over time and like so I really like it. I couldn't explain to you exactly why I enjoy it so much. I just
Yeah.
do. It's good. So, you know.
I don't know. I've seen their budgets and I'm just kind of like not impressed. But to is
Yeah.
their own. Cool.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
we
kind
could
of.
talk about
I don't
Alien
think we need to talk
Isolation,
that
but
much.
yeah, I don't think
Background for Alien Isolation. I'll just say it really fast.
we already talked about
We
it
already talked
last
about it a little
week.
bit.
So,
Game. It's got AI aliens. It's not really
mhm.
horror. It's not really thriller. It's more just kind of like a story game.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
the
go
only
play
thing
with alien
horror
that
about
listens
it
to
is
you
that
and
the
it's
alien will
scary.
just run at you and just tear you to limb for limb and tear you to bits.
Mhm.
And then that's it. You die and then you reset. But it like learns from some stuff and it like will hear you and will do crazy tricks and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's ancient.
Cool.
That's about it. Nothing more to talk about
Yeah.
with Alien. Play it if you haven't already. Cool.
Basically, all this is to lead up to our new
Yeah.
segment. Basically, we'll go through and we'll do all our introduction because it's going to become a really good YouTube video. But to introduce it for DevCast, basically, we're going to be coming up with a video game concept, and this week is going to be horror themed because it's Halloween,
Obviously.
so we're doing that. And so our goal is to collaborate together, create a unique video game concept, and the reason we talked about and went through a lot of video games that are in the horror genre is to get inspired of like
inspiration.
what works, what doesn't work, what's good, what's bad, what we could invade on. Is kind of like to get our ideas going for that, and I thought it made pretty good conversation in my opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
I like how that turned out. So now we will do our video game concept idea that we are calling the first draft. Yeah, kind of like
Okay, and you're
more
just gonna see
YouTube
where they both fit in. Sure,
enthusiastic
that's
kind
fine.
of one.
More YouTube enthusiastic one. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know
Do you
how I
want
love
to
those.
swap swap bars for this one?
I do. Yeah, I'm like, I do. What's this
All
do
right.
like that? Bam! It's fixed.
Nice.
It's fixed.
All right. Whenever you're
I
ready.
don't know how I'm gonna do the ending bit. The ending is gonna be fun. Okay, you ready?
Welcome to episode 1 of the first draft.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta be like, welcome to episode 1 of the first draft.
That sounds so fake.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, yours
out.
sounds fine, but mine's gonna sound super fake. So that's all that matters.
I don't know.
Okay, are you ready?
You gotta practice.
Are you ready?
Man.
Practice.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm your host Ethan.
I'm your host Dothan.
Today we'll be collaborating to create a horror-themed video game concept.
Yeah, and not only does our video game concept have to be unique and innovative, but by the end of the video, we have to have a compelling pitch prepared to sell to you, the viewer.
Welcome to episode 1 of the first draft.
Nice.
That sounds pretty good. Pretty good. I'll take
pretty
it.
good.
Pretty good.
We go.
Pretty good. Cool.
All right. So
We have some basic.
we're just gonna be cutting around the
categories.
basic
Yeah.
idea.
Well,
So
we
got
have
a bunch of categories. All right.
Wait,
So
How do
do
you
you want me to
this?
just do a quick explanation?
Sure, and then I'm sure you're gonna edit that and make it look great.
Yes.
Go for it.
All right. So the way we're going to be collaborating on these ideas, basically we have an entire list of different stuff we do. We need to establish a genre, an art style, establish an innovative or interesting mechanic, establishing all the filler mechanics, and if our game has story, we got to figure out the story as well. Our goal is to make a pitch that's one. I just heard the car go by.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my god. Get the blooper sound. Beep. Reset. Go again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Establishing filler mechanics to flesh out the game and story if it has any.
I just heard another
And
one go
finally,
by.
we'll give you the pitch.
By the end of the video, we're going to give you a pitch. It's going to have to be 1 minute long, and it'll be good. We'll pair it with concept art, and we got to try to sell it to you.
And we'll pair it with Gru with the picture with with the slides.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, that's how we're going.
Today's week is going to be horror themed. We're going to try to make a horror themed game.
So let's just get started. We're just gonna start making a basic idea. I'll
Sure.
just start cutting around. If we have really good conversation, I'll just put in the good conversation.
I'm actually just going to go
And
to the
then-
bottom of the Notion and I can just start writing up whatever. If we got
I'll
any
just
good
write
ideas.
it in basic starting ideas.
That's
Or
true, I
unless
guess,
you just
yeah.
wanna-
Okay, cool.
Okay,
What are you
so
thinking?
I couldn't help but think of stuff before. I have a few ideas, right?
Mhm.
So because obviously before we had talked about the horror games, and some of the best stuff is kind of when you can play it with friends.
Okay,
It always
yeah.
makes horror a little less scary, but at the same time, it's always really fun.
Yeah.
And so we obviously want a co-op aspect to it, probably up to 4 players.
Okay.
Not too sure what you're thinking on that, but that's what I have. I have this really unique idea. I don't know if this is a game that's out there, but every map that
Very professional.
but every map that's in the game, I want to kind of be themed around a different type of phobia.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what form that takes, but like okay. We're supposed to be like, I know we're supposed to be like coming up with ideas as we go and as we're working.
Yeah, but you're like, I've already got 6 notes. I've got everything.
I already came up with some
Books
ideas
out of the
because like I was coming up with the video game concept, and so just give us a starting off point. Basically, you'll come up with like your idea, I think, and we'll smash them together and we'll like start combining stuff to create like the perfect game. So we have phobia based maps. Let's see. So basically, I was thinking something kind of like a super gory, like maybe co-op or like free for all Um,
Okay. Yeah.
FPS,
Yeah. FPS seems fine.
like
Yeah.
a super, not. So I'm not looking for like how like specifically. I'm not going for a Halloween theme because I
Yeah.
think Halloween in terms of like horror, it's like its own like subgenre and it only gets
Mhm.
played around like Halloween when you're in the mood. We're
Yeah.
trying to create a long-lasting game that's based in the horror genre.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I'm thinking some kind of free-for-all FPS game mode that's like super gruesome. Um, and I made a really pun like name. I was gonna call
Oh
it
no.
Fear for All instead of Free for All. Fear for All, and
Uh,
I was like, maybe
that's like them
it's
fighting herds. Oh
it's not as
no.
bad as that
That is not
though.
as bad, but it's like
It's not as
it's
bad.
getting close. It's getting close.
Well, you know,
Um.
my main idea is the phobia based maps
Okay.
and
Yeah.
like super gruesome, and the co-op. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm trying to think specifically because I don't know if I want to do the co-op version, just
Hmm.
because the one-person horror games technically are better, um, and
Right.
they're able to have more polish. Though
Hmm.
there could be an idea somewhere along the line of maybe it's like, um, one person is the kind of Dead by Daylight-esque, one person is the actual monster, and the other person is the person trying to survive the horror. And they have a ton of like god powers in their hands and disposal to scare the other person, but at the same time maybe that doesn't work out if you're trying to get
Maybe.
co-op in there. Otherwise the
Hmm.
co-opness would be like they'd have to be, grouped. They couldn't go explore. It still follows like story game
Hmm.
esque ideas. Because then like what ends up happening if you have those like kind of weird, really weird story game co-op ones
Hmm.
where like one person hits the jump scare spot and then they get jump scared and then they keep going and
Uh,
then your teammate 10 seconds later hits the same jump scare spot and they get jump scared. And so it's like
mhm.
it just doesn't line up well if you're trying to make like a story kind of co-op game. So if you're thinking
Right.
like Phasmophobia, because you said phobia based maps, there has to be like different maps, so it's not necessarily like a story game. If that was
Well,
if that's what
phasmophobia
you're
is
thinking.
like fear of ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
Um,
as far as
so
Phasmophobia goes, where you select a different
here,
map and then you play it, or
let's
like Dead by
figure
Daylight,
out
where you play a map.
let's figure out uh like kind of what we're going for in the horror genre. Are we just going for because we want to use like horror elements like super gruesome and bloody and like monsters and stuff, or are we going for a game that really scares people? Like we're trying to terrify people and like
I think
actually like give people nightmares.
I think the Terrify one is probably
The
better.
terrify one?
I'm
Okay.
thinking specifically, um, and whether that means we can still implement the phobia based areas, and just use those to maximize fear potential. Um,
Maybe.
because I think they're like with I guess with the fear or with the horror genre, like adding the
Hmm.
co-op aspect does make it less scary.
It does make it less scary.
Whether that's the point or not, I don't know. I feel like that at least a more fun game for me would be the more scarier one, if that makes sense. Um,
The fun game, the more
the
fun
more
one.
fun one would be the scarier one because that's why
I
you
see.
buy the horror game in the first place, if that makes sense.
The more scary, the more fun it would be.
Yeah, just because
Okay.
that's the reason why you'd buy it. Like if you wanted to play a co-op game, you just play any of the co-op games that already exist right now, like
Right.
the video. What's it called? Video something.
Hmm.
Video Horror Night. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
That one,
that
or Dead by
game.
Daylight, or Phasmophobia, or any of those kind of co-op
Hmm.
horror games. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know how you'd add in the co-op aspect of it. It'd have to be done really well. Um,
Yeah.
maybe it could be something like like in Mario Odyssey, where you have like the one person plays the cap and fly around in like wherever, and the person's like the actual
Hmm.
player. You could do something like that, where like the one person
Maybe.
plays as like your pet dog, and the other person's like the human, and then like you can like the person like the dog can just like go check out areas and get jump scared on their own if they want to, and like they have to scout for you. That'd be sick. Like if
That
you
could
had
be okay.
if
Okay,
you had
let's
like a
put let's put
minion
a
or
pin in
like
that.
something kind of
Yeah.
like that, like where your teammate could scout for you, and like so for example, like let's say you're the human and I'm the whatever, I'm the servant
Mm.
or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go down that hallway. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
killed. And so you kind of have like that dichotomy, I guess, back and forth, which I think could be fun, I guess, if you're trying to add in the co-op aspect. I'm just trying to think of like how you would
That's
add it in.
I like the idea. So
Okay,
like
cool.
let's put that down as like an idea.
Okay.
I do kind of want to go back and just
Yeah.
real quick talk about my my free for all kind of idea. Because we gotta somehow fit some interesting mechanics.
Yeah.
Which I think the dog one would actually do. So I do
Mhm.
want to keep a hold of that because I think that is a really good idea. Um, Basically with the free for all, I wanted it to be like super like Escape from Tarkov kind of idea,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
you kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
dropped into a map. Each map is like phobia based. So if it's like
Okay.
arachnophobia, maybe it's a forest and there's lots of like spiders, maybe a
Yeah.
huge like spider in the distance. It's
Harry
very
Potter
themed. Yeah, that's
and the Lord
very
of the Rings,
yeah.
both the same.
But like it's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
arachnophobia, and
Yeah.
then like based off each map, it's like Tarkov and like super locational damage, right? So like the kind of idea would be like if you get shot in the arm, your arm just gets blown off. You can't use the arm. So if it's like if you're right-handed, right, and you're playing
Okay.
on right
Yeah.
hand arm, and that arm, you can't use your gun anymore.
Are you
Like you just
saying
swap.
VR or are you saying this is
No,
PC?
PC.
Okay, PC.
Yeah. So like you get shot, like where you get shot, like your character, and then you look, and it's like all your like like your arms rolling off, or like
What
if you're like
if?
your leg gets cut off, like then you have to like hop around, or like you can
Mhm.
only like
Yeah.
crawl or stuff. It'd be not a lot of movement. It'd be like moving around, trying to. I
Are
don't know
you
what if what the.
fighting? Are you fighting each other?
It'd be other players. It'd be other players. It'd be like a
Okay.
free team
But so
based
there's not
thing.
any like
But then there's
horror
like
aspect of it. It's just
well, the map would be
the
like
map would just be the horror
horror
aspect, and otherwise it's
themed.
like a battle royale, or like
Um,
like an arena.
I don't know exactly the thing is like what kind of.
I see. Okay, but there's not
Well,
like any
yeah.
jump scares or any story or any of that
Well,
stuff. It's just a
there could be jump
competitive
scares,
shooter.
but it would be built into the map,
Is it a competitive
right?
shooter?
I feel maybe it would be
Okay.
feel very slow in comparison. It's more like
Mm-hmm.
slow gameplay, and then proximity chat, just proximity voice chat,
Okay.
and that being forced on could be really funny
Like
too.
map
It's like you have to
wide.
sneak up, not no like locational.
Yeah, locational,
kind of.
but like not just to your team, like to anybody. And so,
Yeah,
like if you talk too loud in the
yeah,
grass trying to explain your
yeah,
plan, you'll just
yeah,
get
yeah,
walked up
yeah,
on.
yeah,
That could be
yeah.
sick.
That could be like, and like you get walked up and someone's behind you, just goes, "Hey," and you're like, you're like you get scared because like someone
You get jump
walked
scared.
up on
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah. I see.
something like
Okay.
that. You know, maps are like night or something. It's like dark and you have to do things.
Yeah.
So that was my kind of idea. So we have like free for all with locational damage. So you don't die if like you get like your arm. You only die if like too many limbs fall off or something. And
Too
you don't,
many
like,
limbs
treat
fall
them.
off.
Or
The
like
Black
if you
Knight,
get
dude.
like headshot, just immediately die
Okay.
type of deal.
Yeah.
Like just make it really realistic
Make it really
to
realistic.
an extent.
Like if your arm
yeah.
gets blown off, then you don't die. That yeah. Okay.
Well, your arm will off and you'll start bleeding out, so you have to like
Yeah.
treat it and
You
like
gotta treat it. And not
cauterize it
die.
or whatever. You know?
Cauterize it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to do something to fix it, right? And then, but then you wouldn't have your gun that hand, so you'd either have to like swap
Yeah.
it over to your other arm,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would be from a left-handed view, and that might throw off your aim because your shooting arm got hit.
Mm-hmm.
Something really realistic.
I see. Okay.
So realistic, free for all gameplay.
I see. Okay.
So
Now we
that
just
was
have to
that's
decide
kind of
where we
that
want to
idea.
go / if we want to try to combine them / whatever. If those are the two basic ideas.
So if I were to work off of your idea, combining like co-op and phobia-based maps. Maybe I'm describing more of like a competitive
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
yeah,
play
yeah.
game. You're just kind of describing more of a story game,
More of like a
in my
standardized horror
opinion.
game. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, standardized story game. So I'm thinking we could do like, the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We do that, but maybe it's like all the phobias you'll go or something
Yeah.
along
Mm-hmm.
those lines.
Okay.
And then it's like, so you're gonna maybe make like cliche, but like haunted mansion kind of
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
creepy house. You go in
Mm-hmm.
exploring with your dog, who's like your other co-op player, and like,
Yeah.
cause you remember, Stray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, with the cat.
Basically,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that'd be player.
Yeah,
Your
that's what I'm
dog
thinking
would
too.
be the other
The original
person's
idea
kind of
was
gameplay.
like the Valorant with like Sky, and she has the wolf, and you play as
Yeah,
the wolf for a split second. That was like the main idea.
yeah,
So
but
yeah,
that's like the
but
entire
yeah,
other person's gameplay.
yeah, 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 exactly.
And so you
And
guys, they'll have each character have like their own different, um, like things they can do,
mhm,
right? Dogs could probably have like
they have
doggy
sniffing.
doors or
They
like
can
holes or
sniff. Yeah, it's
something,
like a puzzle game.
and then you could go, yeah. So there'd be different puzzles, but each kind of segment of
Each
this
segment
house,
of the house is a different phobia.
it's like the house wouldn't make sense much.
Yeah,
I don't know, because like
we'll have to figure it
because
out.
in this you'd have to have a linear progressive storyline,
Hmm.
right? So it's like a linear storyline, but then each place you go is a new is based off of a
Yeah.
phobia.
So what if, and on top of this, what if
Hmm.
like there was like character customization, but like you select the phobias that you have or that you want to have, and like you have to manage your heart rate in the game.
Hmm.
So like you like for person like you have like you select a personality, right? And you can either select it like realistically or not, but you have to select like two or three. And like that just makes those levels much much harder because like your character, starts to hyperventilate, starts
I
to have a
think
panic attack, and you have to like play it safe to not like make your own character like pass out. If you pass out, you like lose. Or something like that, like
maybe
adds in an aspect of not competitiveness, but um more realism, I guess, if that makes sense.
maybe I feel like being able to the game still has to be accessible enough to where you don't have like an actual heart rate monitor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm not, I'm
do
not
you
saying
mean
that. I'm
like
saying like in the
not a real
game,
one,
like in the game,
in the
like
game?
if your character has a heart rate. I mean, you could obviously hook
Mm.
one up if you wanted to. I don't know the implications of
I
that,
thought
but
that's what you were
no, I'm
doing.
saying like
No, no,
if
no.
you
Yeah,
like it's like, in the game, and like it only goes to a certain point. Like when you're in the levels that you selected is the ones that you said you hated. If you said, "Oh, I
right.
have arachnophobia," if a spider lands on your hand and you don't slap it off your hand, then like you start to have a panic attack kind of thing, or like you turn around and you see a spider, and so you're trying to like in those levels specifically, like the rest of the levels are scary and hard, but
Right.
the levels that you selected specifically for your personality are way harder because you have to manage
Right.
like your own panic and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like it inhibits your movement and all this other things that obviously regular horror games have. But
Hmm.
the reason why you'd have that, I feel like, is just because the horror game, like for me, they try to force in some of these horror games, they try to like force they have a vignette on the screen, they have your character walking slower, breathing heavier. It's like, well, what if you're not
Hmm.
scared? Like, what if at that point in
Right.
time you're just not scared? Like, it just doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. So if you're like telling people, oh yeah, select the phobias you have, and then we'll make the game harder on those levels just for you, like that could seem fun.
I think that could be a fun setting that's like optional
Yeah,
to have.
because some speedrunners.
I think I think I think the idea. So I have a few ideas floating around. We need an
Hmm.
antagonist, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Some kind of AI that chases you
yeah.
and
Okay.
your dog that's playing with you. Something like that. Even if
Hmm.
that's the same one or different ones per room,
Hmm.
right? I also think that the rooms should be procedural every time you play.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not going to be the same order every time,
Hmm.
something like that. And then that could
Yeah.
lend itself to being like speed run at some point, trying to get
Hmm.
best times as well. Then it'd have to have, puzzles or stuff to solve. Um,
There could also be and again, this might be kind of ruining it, I guess, at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could be weird, could be bad. That sometimes, not sometimes, probably like one or two times, the dog player has like the option to set up a jump scare for you. Like they get
Right.
like possessed by a ghost, quote unquote, and then like they're told instructions on what to do, like outside of what the player is saying. And like if you're playing this game for the first time, you wouldn't know about this, obviously. Like if you're the dog player, you just see something on your screen saying something like, "Hey, go knock over this bucket, and then go into this room and flip this switch." And if you do that, it does like a certain thing that messes up with the player. And so you have some like
I think there
interaction,
could be different things like that.
like or like something more like with the specialties of the dog slash the human. Like the dog has a sense of smell, the human is taller, and they can open up doors.
Yeah. There's definitely different mechanics. Okay, I'm getting some ideas now.
Yeah.
Of how to fit that in. The other thing I'd say, have you played Little Nightmares? We didn't talk about this before.
Let me
Have you
look it
seen
up.
gameplay on Little Nightmares 2? It's kind of like a side scroller type game. It's very horror
I might have seen this.
aspect. Um,
No, but I think I played the game that the company has made. Like I played a
Let me
game that the
see.
company has designed, so I kind of have
Uh,
an idea of what you're talking about.
but basically it's side scroller and you go through different places,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
they have like these big, like scary like creatures, because like it's the fact that you're small, everything else around you is bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Yeah.
like big. And so like there's this big like terrifying creatures. Each like kind of level has like a different boss per se, and you
Okay.
don't beat the boss, but you
You send them back.
you kind of just try to run away and escape them. And then
Okay.
if you
Yeah, yeah,
escape
yeah.
them, you're on to the next level.
I
Like getting
see.
to the next level is an escape. It's like a really well crafted story around it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like with the AI, I don't know how we'd want to do that, but
Because you're trying to have bosses.
maybe not. But there needs to be an antagonist, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of thing you're trying to beat, and then
Well, if we're trying to make
to
like a
complete your
story,
goal.
yeah, there has to be a reason for
Right.
why the guy is taking his dog to the house or whatever we're calling
Mm-hmm.
it. And also, we could
Yeah.
just do something like with the guy, um, you know, giving shrooms to his dog or something like that, and then
What?
like that's just like the dog's entire like the story is just based on the dog's experience with drugs, or whatever we want to make it.
I I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so for like I think a good gameplay element could be like there's some kind of like thing in the house that kind of watches you from the start,
Yeah. Okay.
and it'll just appear as a voice. Like
Yeah.
you'll just hear a voice all of a
Yeah.
sudden,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like kind of like a little gremlin or something,
Sure.
like voice.
I was thinking an angel, but we're both
No,
like,
no, I'm going.
you're like
No,
a
no, this
voice
is
in your head. I'm like, okay, an angel, and you're like, no, it's a
no, no, no.
gremlin.
They're not. They're not. They're not good. They're not
It's like,
good.
jeez, bro. Okay,
No,
they're
they're not
evil.
good
Okay,
because
they're
they're the
like
one
evil.
that's gonna make each player set up jump scares for the other player in the
Okay,
gameplay. It's kind of like the tutorial voice,
sure.
kind of telling
Okay,
you
yeah,
how to
yeah.
do
So you
stuff
so you
like
are sticking with the possession idea.
not possession though, per se.
I mean, that's the
It
only way you
won't
could
be
kind of think
possession.
it being possession.
No, because it only appear to one person, and it's like a sound. It's like a sound. Like when the other person is in a different room. So like say, like the dog enters a different room from you. Like say
Yeah.
you're in one room and
Mm-hmm.
there's different rooms in that room. They walk like through like this hole in the wall in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Then the voice might appear to you, and not every time. It's random. It, like will appear to you and be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I wonder what happens if you flip this. And be like, oh, what is this voice? And it's like, well, it said to flip this. You flip a switch, and then like something goes off in the other room, scares the crap out of the
Oh,
person
so
playing the
you
dog.
mean like you can't tell, at least in the start of the game, you can't tell if the voice is evil or like good or evil, but the voice is telling
Yeah,
you to do
it
things
sounds like a
that
little bit
would
like a
inhibit
monster
your
and hit with all the person,
gameplay.
but you don't know because like
That's good, bro.
it'll be really funny because like dog's in the other room, dog doesn't hear anything. You're getting heard voice, you jump, and then the person playing dog will be like, what happens? Like I don't know, I just heard something, and it's like and then you'll be
It's,
like, I
it's
wonder what
telling
this
us where
does.
to go.
You flip the switch, and then something happens to the dog,
Yeah,
and
it
you're like,
flips
what
the light
happened?
on
What
the switch.
happened?
You'd
And
have
like,
to have some
he's
like
like, oh,
delay
gosh.
though. You'd have to have some like delay between the two, because like
So you don't know that you're the
people would
thing that
catch. Yeah,
triggered.
you don't know that it's your fault why it happened.
Yeah,
You're
but
like,
maybe the voice as
the
you go
voice
on,
just
because it
tells you to go
starts
through
off
certain
like
doors,
really
or it
simple,
does help you. Yeah,
right?
it's a tutorial
It
voice.
starts, yeah, it'll be the thing that starts at the tutorial, and then maybe it gets like a little bit of tutorial stuff, right? And then,
Yeah.
but then as you go, it gets more and more convincing that this is what you need to do,
So you go
and
through certain
not something
doors.
else.
That's great.
Yeah, it'll be like it's like at some point it'll be like, okay, well, and it does it for the dog and the person, so they
Oh, but
both
like
have
different
different
things.
opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
have different
Yeah.
opportunities to cause jump scares for one another.
Yeah. Without
And
even
then,
knowing.
but
Okay.
then at some point the player will agree, okay, we shouldn't listen to the voice anymore. And then
Yeah,
it's
and then
like
the
you can't
voice.
figure out the room, and then it's
And
like,
the voice is
and it's
telling
like
you
the
where to
voice
go.
actually tells you where to go, and you follow it, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you're stupid. And then the next time it'll happen, it'll tell you where to go, and then
Yeah.
it's like,
That just means
it's
you meet your
like,
death or something
so
like
then you'll
that.
be like, you don't know if you're like if you trust them or something, and then
Yeah.
just gonna happen again, or something like that.
Okay. Okay. So there's like an
But
underlying
it'll start,
voice that.
yeah, it'll start out like with you starting to like think trust with it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what we call the voice or anything yet, but
The gremlin.
but
Whatever you want to call
the
it.
gremlin right now.
The gremlin
Um,
right now. Yeah.
a mysterious voice is like during the first chase scene or something where you're getting chased. You'd be like, "Hey, over here!" A door opens.
Yes.
You
Slide
guys
through
run in the
this
door. Door
crack.
shuts. You hear like the person chasing you outside, like not banging on the door or something, like can't go in, something like that. You like move a chair in front of the door and like they can't go in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty sick.
Okay.
I do like that. So
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
who is the antagonist outside of just
I
the
don't know.
gremlin?
We should write that. We should write that down.
Yeah. I mean,
The gremlins
we're just gonna say it's
guiding
a horror jump scare game.
lights. So the story could start off like you're watching a TV screen. Stuff is happening, in back, like
Mm-hmm.
you're starting off. You're watching the TV screen. It could be like a news channel, and it could be like the forest fires in
Yeah.
wherever they're at. And then as it's like zooming out, panning away, maybe the volume of the TV lowers, like is slowly lowering down, and then
Yeah.
more filler information about the world is happening in that time. It's like if you pay really close attention, you'll be able to tell. And then you zoom into each player's POV zooms in. You and the dog or
Yeah.
your friend, whoever's playing the dog, it zooms into the player's POV, and then you have some time to look around. You can't move, can't get up, can't do anything, but you're looking around. You can look at your dog. The dog has the same thing. But then it could be interesting that the dog and the man have different experiences,
Okay.
right? So here's what I'm thinking. Basically, all of a sudden you'll hear like there's no like music, no sound except for like the drowned out sound of like the TV, and then
Yeah.
then maybe rain outside. Who knows? Making a setting.
Mm-hmm.
There's no lights on in your house because it's nighttime. You're just watching TV on your couch.
Okay.
Normal thing. And then all of a sudden to like cut the silence, ring, 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 like
Yeah,
a
the phone.
landline telephone
Yeah.
ringing and rattling, like somewhere behind you. You
Somewhere
can't
behind
like
you.
you can't look behind. You can like look that way or that way, but you
You
can't.
can't look behind. Okay.
You can't look behind yet.
Can't,
And then you'll be prompted to stand up.
Yeah.
And then like it'll be prompted to stand up, and they'll show like a thing on screen, and then you'll basically like go find the source of the noise, walk around, and then you'll get it's like somewhere behind you there'll be like a hallway, right? And the hallway, at the end of the hallway there'll be like a table with like a telephone on it, right? And that's the one that's ringing.
Yeah.
Very cliche. I'm probably stealing this from somewhere.
You're stealing
but-
it from the phone one where if you answer the phone you die.
I don't know what that is.
That's the one. That's the one with the telephone.
I see. Well, it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then like as the character's walking down, like maybe the character, because like there's gonna be narration, right,
Mm-hmm.
from like the player's character,
Yeah.
um, like, oh, I don't have a landline, blah blah. It's like, dog, stay here, and then so one person will just be stuck on the couch, like
I
looking
think that they should be
around,
able to like do
trying
whatever
to
they
see,
want. Like,
do whatever they want.
but like they're not supposed to follow you. They don't have to follow you for the story. Like you can do whatever you want with this phone. They'll
Right.
explore the house while you answer the phone, basically.
Well, the house,
Um,
I'm thinking the house is small. Like
yeah,
there's
but
like
like
there's like living room, hallway going down, kitchen over here.
yeah, and the phone's in the bedroom.
No, the phone's just at the end of the hallway.
Okay,
So you're gonna have a hallway, and then we can
hallway
do a
with
lot
no
of
room at the end.
hallway with at the end is a table. There's like doors along the hallway that would go
Yeah.
into rooms,
Okay.
but at the end is like the phone, and there's a single light pointed down at the phone. Very
Of course. Yeah.
serious
Yeah.
ominous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as soon as you walk around, like walk towards the hallway and start entering, yeah, as you said, kind of
Yeah.
shifts around you,
Mm-hmm.
and you start going to this like darker place. But it's not just like a dark version of your house. It's like the other house, the other place you're gonna end up eventually going to.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so like, like that place, and it could be like each style of room or level,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? So it could go through a few of the phobias in the game,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe, and like it's always like it'll always kind of represent like a hallway,
Yeah.
right? It would always like represent a hallway. Like it's like if it put you into like a forest, right? A
Mm-hmm.
forest, the tree line generally looks like it's like straight, like you can see trees and stuff,
Yeah.
but there's
Mm-hmm.
like a straight path. At the end, there's always the coffee table with like the
The
thing. So
phone. Okay.
it's like you're stumbling around, you're like stumbling through, like camera looks down, right? And looks back up. It's like their hallway again. They're moving forward, looks down, looks
Yeah.
back up, and maybe there's like just like eyeballs staring as you keep walking
Yeah. Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
dark, and it seems to keep getting longer and longer or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
finally, you get through most of the phobias or something, and then you put your hand on the phone, and then maybe it cuts to something. Who knows? I don't really know. Like it cuts.
Yeah.
Um, you pick up the phone, and then it's like hello, and it's the gremlin.
Oh my gosh.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
off of story, because I think that's
Right.
pretty good. We'll have to do a little bit of changing as far as the phone
Right.
goes, but I think it sounds fine. Um, you know how in this is gonna sound, you could just say no to this. It's fine. You know how in like
Okay.
roguelikes where you go through each stage, and sometimes
Mhm.
there's kind of like, especially in like Dead Cells, there's
Mhm.
like the main spot where you like once you finish a level you can buy stuff.
Right.
What if after you finish each level you go back to your house and like you could steal stuff from your own house to take into the next levels? Does that make sense? So like it's
Mm.
kind of like an RPG, I guess, like where
Okay.
there's like
I kind of
I
like
guess
this
there is
idea.
actual bosses, but like you could like take like a shovel, like if you can find a way to find a shovel in your house, and like only maybe the dog can only get the shovel, right? Because they have to go through the, like the locked garage door that has the doggy door on it or whatever.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
there's like an attic. They
Okay.
can sneak to the attic to
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
garage to get the shovel
I
to bring
have
the shovel to
this.
you. Like so every
Have the
level there's like
idea.
extra spots and extra things that you can find during like your quote unquote saves when you're like at your actual house, not inside of like
Mhm.
the paranormal ones, if that makes sense. And so
Okay.
you can like go to the different ones and like get the stats and steal your own
Okay.
stuff to
Okay.
take into the
So.
worlds.
Okay. So. Okay. I have. I think I have a way to implement that.
Yeah. And you could just say
Basically,
no if you don't like it. Like,
I think I do kind of like it. This could work into the game.
okay.
Basically, maybe the idea is, you know, like we were saying before with like the Mario Luigi thing, they're kind of falling
Yeah.
in and out of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
world, and so as you're going down the hallway, you're kind of falling in and out of phobia like rooms,
Yeah.
right? Environments, whatever. Um, you get to the phone, you pick it up, it's like the gremlin's voice or something, and it's like, I- you ready to go? Something like that,
Is that like the start of the game? Like,
Like, yeah.
okay, so that's the entire
Like,
start.
Hey, sorry, it says you ready to go, and then like just like falling or something, like all of a sudden,
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
fall, like
Yeah.
you can see the telephone. You just like fall, and then you're into the first level, right?
Deltarune.
After you beat each level, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get dropped back into your house or
Yeah.
something. That's like
Or
first
you just
person
appear in the
perspective, all that
area that you
stuff.
were in. So if you were fighting, if you were playing the garage level, or like, because I'm assuming,
No, no,
are
no,
you
'cause
in
it's
your
not.
house or you're not in your house?
No, you're not in your house. You're being
You're not in
totally
your house
taken
anymore.
from your
Okay,
house. Yeah.
I see.
And then after you beat each level,
You
you
get
get
back. You get put back to
you
your
get
house.
sent back to your house,
Hmm.
right? And so after you beat each level, a different door in your house like unlocks or something,
Okay. Yeah.
and you can go in that room, and then you'll be able to take items from that room to your next
Yeah.
level,
To your next level.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, or get stuff, or like you bring stuff from a level to unlock,
Mm-hmm. There could also
something
be
like
something
that.
um, like a code or something like that. Like, and like there's like safes in each level, and like in each like room, there's like a safe. And like the only way
Okay.
you can get the safe code is by playing through like the previous level and finding the code with the dog. Like the dog has like sniff out the code or something like that, and like then like as the human he has
Maybe.
to tell you what the code is, and then you have to go into like your own house and find the safe and then put the code in
Mm-hmm.
to get like better items. Because I'm trying to think like because specifically there's like most of it's like buying, like the more enemies you grind in the roguelike, the more money you have, and then you can buy it on better weapons.
Right.
But there's not gonna be like really a currency because it's your own stuff that you're stealing. So okay,
Yeah.
so they walk down the hallway, they get sent
Walk
back
down
and
the hallway, they guess.
forth,
Yeah.
and
Maybe
then
it is the hallway they see every time. Like when it's phasing back and forth, it's the hallway with
I
like
think it's
different
like
phobias attached to the hallway.
I'm
And
trying
then
to
before they
think.
get dropped into the actual
What if it's
phobia
like
environments.
I'm trying to think specifically on how I would do it, but I feel like it would be like so you walk down the hallway that's continually just getting longer and longer, right? And like
Maybe or something like
if that's
that.
what we're saying.
It's continuing long, you'll see it long and then it'll like transform again and it's like longer and then transforms back and you're there and you're like grabbing the phone.
Yeah.
And like it
Cuz
cuts
okay,
like
cuz that's the start
jumps.
of the game. It's just answering the phone. That's the start of the game.
Yeah, that's the start of the game.
Okay. And do you get sent back and forth for any reason other than just for the story, or is it just kind of because of
Just
the?
well, it's really quick, just like
Okay,
phasing in
yeah,
and
but
out
it's not.
between the
I don't think
different
it should have
things.
anything to do with the actual phobias of the rooms. I don't think it should just be random things.
Random things.
Yeah, like
You
one of them's
not
black
like
and white. One of them
not
is
showcasing the
eyeballs. One of them is whatever. I don't think it should show off what the other phobias are in the maps. If it's fast.
okay.
If it's like
Okay.
every step that you take, one step is the place, the other step is your house, and then the next step is the psychedelic place, and then the next step is your house, and you're just doing it back and forth. Every step is like
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, and then once you reach the phone, then the game starts. And then
Mm-hmm.
otherwise you fall or you spawn in somewhere, or like maybe you relive
Yeah.
memories. Maybe like when you answer the phone, like
I don't
the
know.
phone says some like dialogue, maybe something like, for example, like it could be different every time. Like
Mm-hmm.
your mom is like, "Hey, are you coming over for Thanksgiving?" And then you like, "Oh, mom, I'll be right there," and then like it cuts to like you pulling up on the driveway. You walk into the house, and it's like the house that you're supposed to go meet your mother for Thanksgiving, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's the next map. You have to play through the map, get to the phone. You answer the phone, it's another call. The call is from somebody else. It's from the
Levels
whatever.
have to be, I feel like pretty big though.
They can't fit in the houses. Well, I mean, just make it like a Doctor Who thing, bigger on the inside. Psychedelic.
Maybe.
I mean, you could just make it like where you're just going shopping and all of a sudden all the people disappear. Just like what you want. like, um, like I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like how you would do the answering the phone to the spawn in kind of thing into the new area and how you'd like connect that with the story. I was
Yeah,
thinking
maybe
originally it'd
maybe
be
we
like
just drop the RPG
okay,
like idea
okay,
and just go with like a linear story instead.
yeah. I'm still trying to think how you would do the back
Um,
and forth between the areas. Just because I was thinking it'd be like not a teleport, but your house just
yeah,
transforms into
you
a
could just
different
yeah,
area.
we could just do that. It just
Yeah.
transforms.
Well, then with that
But it just
you
gives
could still do like you could still do like an RPG aspect
well,
of
no, no,
stealing your own
no, 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 no,
stuff.
no. I don't. I just mean during the start, it would change. But after that, I think it
After
should
that,
be a
it's just
different place
different
entirely.
place entirely every time.
So
Okay.
maybe the phone says an address or something. Like you see all this crazy stuff, you're like wondering what's happening. You put your hand on the phone, you pick, and you're like, hello, and then it's like the phone just says like an address, right?
And then
And
you
then
get in your
and
car and
then
you
it
go there, or
yeah, then it cuts and like cuts to black, and then you hear like a like a car revving, and
okay,
then
yeah.
like it's like the morning, and you pull up and it's like at like a house, right, or like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mansion, classic haunted mansion, and then it's like you're walking up, you walk in to the like you push like the door seems like ajar or something,
Mm-hmm.
and like you push open the door, and like it's just dark, and you go in, and like the only thing you can see is like the light from outside going in,
Yeah.
and like and then once you enter the house, that's like the first room, and it'll probably be like a TARDIS thing where it's bigger on the
Yeah,
inside
bigger than
type
inside.
of
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, yeah. Or just make a
But then
basement, make
we
an
then we
upstairs. Let's make it a big house.
it can be a big house, but like you want levels that to feel bigger than you are. I
Yeah.
feel like to an extent, because otherwise you just need a big house with all rooms. Because like each level should have a bunch of different rooms, part of it,
Yeah.
like different floors, different things. They're all based on a phobia. Like, cause isn't there a fear of the dark? What's that phobia called?
Um,
Fear of no typing for you, so I'll
I'm
just
not
find
allowed. Yeah.
it. Fear of
I'm
the dark
banned.
phobia. What is the phobia? Nyctophobia.
Nectophobia, the fear of the
Yeah,
dark.
extreme fear of the dark.
Okay, with that one, the dog
And
has the candle and you don't. So
so
if the
the dog
dog,
can
if the
see.
dog we no, you the dog has to stay by you because if the dog leaves, you can't see. It's like pitch black, or like almost pitch black.
I think a lot of it will be just dark. It's just really dark. Like this dark, there's not a whole lot of light,
Yeah, but like the
right? And you
dog has
kind of
some light that can like obviously
the
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 dog can see in
dog
the dark too.
dog
So
has
it's
a
like
little bit better bright, but maybe it has like because it has like the sniffing, so maybe it like tries to sniff
to
which ways to
smell
go, and
around.
not. It's just like the starting area. We'll have
Okay.
like when you go in, it'll be like just pitch black. Can't see
Yeah.
anything. You have to like fumble around. Maybe you
Yeah.
hear.
Well, that's something
And like
like
the
it'd be
dog
funny if the
see
dog
and
has
like the
the
dog
candle.
sees a different room to go into,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like because they didn't bring a candle, they didn't bring a
Yeah, but
flashlight or candle.
as
They
man,
just
they
popped
find
in
a
front of them.
candle, but the dog for some reason just has it and not you, and you just can't have it. So the dog has to
No,
like
I
stick
think
by you because you can't see.
I think just you shouldn't be able to see it all. Like the dog will leave, has to go to a different room. Like there'll be like a hole in a wall that I can
Mm-hmm.
see. It'll go to a
Yeah.
different room, and the dog will do stuff, and then that's when the gremlin will talk to you, and it'll be like the same voice that you heard over the phone, just
Yeah.
clearer
Yeah.
now because it doesn't have
Okay.
like the high pass or low pass or whatever it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's different. It goes on to have different rooms, different
Yeah.
puzzles, different
Different
projects,
puzzles
stuff
with
to
the dark.
find,
Okay.
different phobias.
Maybe some jump
We should
scares.
we should come up, yeah, definitely jump scares and stuff. The antagonist will be probably whoever owns the house, whoever is in the house,
Okay.
maybe.
Who's the main antagonist? Is it just the gremlin? And like,
I think the
why is he haunting
I
you?
think I think the gremlin. What if the gremlin is like somebody who's like just trapped like in the house,
In your
trapped in like
house or in the
no, no,
house?
no, no, in the haunted house,
Okay.
trapped there and hiding from the antagonist or like the person that owns the house.
Okay, so it's like it's a different
But they're
gremlin every time then? Or is it just like one gremlin per stage? Or is it just like
no, the entire
because if you're
so
saying
going from the
you
start.
save him from the house, like the first level, you save him
So
from
like
world
the
one.
reason from the story standpoint, the reason you go to the house is because you're investigating what all that strange stuff was,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Um, you go there, right, and then by the end, like the players will think the goal is it's like, escape the house because you can't go back out the front door. So now you have
Mm-hmm.
to get through and escape. But they'll really find out like their goal is to find out why they were brought here or why they're here, why there's an address, who said it. There's
Mm-hmm.
all these questions to answer. Maybe it could be like a different ending type of thing as well.
Okay.
Because like the thing that's procedural is just the room, like the
Yeah.
phobias of
Mm-hmm.
each room.
Okay.
So
But the
maybe
rest of it's
sometimes
the
you come
same.
in.
So you sometimes you go into world one and sometimes you go into world three and whatever else or whatever we're calling it, level three, level five. They're all different.
Yeah, you
Okay.
just walk in and it's like a different phobia per room. per
Yeah,
level. I
I
don't
see. Okay.
know. Otherwise, I think it's mostly story.
Yeah. But that's what I'm trying to figure out why, like, if we're trying to solidify the story specifically, and obviously that doesn't have to be like a really good reason, because it's
Well,
just
we don't
ghosts.
really have to solidify a story because we're just gonna pitch the game, and we
That's
don't want
true.
to say
We just say
what.
Gremlin gives you a call, and you answer the phone,
No, no,
and
no.
you're gonna have
So
to do voice acting. By the way. Oh
I'm
my
gonna
god.
have to do voice
I mean,
acting.
I could try to do a gremlin voice, and you could add your low pass to it, so it
Nah,
sounds good. So it sounds like a phone. Uh,
I don't think we have that. Anyway,
if you're
so
trying to do like some actual
I
story
think
stuff, it could be fun.
I think you're trying to escape from the house, or like they'll be given an option at some point. You're running away from this antagonist,
Yeah.
right? That's
Mhm.
chasing you,
Mhm.
and then you'll be brought to an option that's that's like um like you have a chance to leave, right?
Mhm.
Or it's kind of like the red pill or blue pill, right? The gremlin
Yeah.
gives you the option to leave, or the gremlin asks for your help to help set him free, kind of deal.
Sure. Okay. This is just one of the
Um,
world, one of the maps, or do you only
yeah,
get
it'll
one
just
map per game? Like, how does it work?
no,
Are
no, no,
you
it's
playing
just
through all of them?
like let's say there's 9 different phobia rooms,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so you play through all 9 levels.
Okay.
At the end, there'll be like a 10th level to set free the gremlin,
Okay.
right?
Or you could just leave. Okay.
Yeah, or you could just leave, and then like the story ends there, right?
If you leave, I think your dog gets stabbed. Just for no reason other than just that
Sure,
punishment for
sure.
leaving.
So
Don't
if you
leave.
choose to exit early, it'll be like you get out the door,
You get out the
and
door and
then
then you see your
and
dog
then
get
no, no,
pulled
no.
back
So you're
in,
going out the door, and then you look around, and then it's like
and your dog's
hand
just
just
not
reaches out
there.
and goes, and then like
Yeah.
takes the dog, and then like just pulls the dog back in and
Oh,
shuts the
the
door,
dog
and
tries
then
to go
that
through the
sets and then sets up for game 2. Now you have to
exactly.
go save the dog.
Yeah, it could be something like the dog, like you hear the like you're running out the front door, right? You're not turning around to see the
Mhm.
dog. And then like
Mhm.
in the dog's POV it's saying, "Hey, run through the doggy door in the front door, just jump through it like you're good." And so you start to go through it and you get a paw through the front door. You hear the doggy door and the sound.
I think the dog would be behind the player, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
so you
so
see player 1 running, they slam open the door to
they
get
slam the
out,
door though like in front of
open.
their dog, and their dog tries to run through the doggy door and then just like gets pulled back in.
No, I think the door should be like wide open.
Oh, the door should be wide open
Um,
and your dog just doesn't make it through.
yeah, I think the thing that pulls it back in is a different thing than the creature that's chasing you. There's like a new
Yeah.
creature, like a big one that like goes
Yeah, it's some
like
nasty thing.
so like you're running out the door, you fall to the ground, and like you're on the ground, and then it like your camera will just auto pan behind you, and like the dog's not in the cutscene, the dog person's not in the cutscene, they're still moving around whatever way, then they're running out the door, they're running out, they're thinking all is fine. Little do they know that there's hand that player 1 gets auto turned to look at, and the dog
Yeah.
player has no clue
The
what's
dog has
happening.
no idea, and it's just like a sea of thieves
And
when
it's
the
just hand,
Kraken
and
grabs
then
you.
yeah, and all of a sudden it just like the claw like grabs him, yanks him back in, and the player 2 isn't like the dog is not in a cutscene. They see their camera like you back and they're like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, they're just
And
getting
then
dragged, and then that's it.
yeah,
It's just
dragged
the
in,
bad
sees the
ending.
door shut, thing like
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
and yeah.
I see. I see. So your dog gets snatched at the end of the game.
hmm
Okay. What else do we need?
And so
for this game?
that's if you
That's only if you
fail.
choose. Yeah, that's only if you choose to leave.
And then so if you go do the gremlin, I don't know.
I'm trying to think specifically.
You could get betrayed by the gremlin and be like, hey, I need kind of
What
deal.
if the gremlin just like possesses the dog? Because I feel like I feel like for this game the dog is going to be like the main, not the main selling point, but like definitely like a big
Playing as the
aspect of
dog.
it. Not necessarily playing as a dog, but like not a lot of games have dogs. Some people who like those
That's
kind
a
of companion.
amount.
That's a decent amount, but like not a lot.
I think all the
Especially-
Fallout ones have one.
Really?
I know Fallout 4 does.
Okay.
That's like the main thing. Is having a dog companion.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be like the main thing here is like having the dog companion slash someone who could play as the dog slash it being like a 2-person puzzle game. Because like 2-person puzzle
Right.
games, there's only a couple of them. There's the
Yeah, there's not a lot of good like 2-person
there's
puzzle games.
only
There's like It Takes Two,
It
yada
Takes
yada
Two, and then Portal 2,
stuff.
and that's about it. Like there's really and then
I think there's other ones, but
there's
there's gotta be
brother.
other ones. We
There's
just don't
like
know them yet.
there's like brother or whatever something brothers, and then there's like
Mhm.
the prison one where you like 2 people have to like escape a prison together, and
Yeah.
then I think that's it. And then like maybe like a couple
Okay.
indie ones with like the the light one like Mordai or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
So, but as far as I'm aware, those are like the only like couple like big 2-player portal like puzzle games. So this would be definitely like fit into that category as well.
Yeah.
With like the height aspect too can definitely help with the height, the smell, the maybe you just
I
get
could think of a
possessed by the
betrayal.
gremlin. Like,
So I can think of a betrayal. So the gremlin has been like
harassing
taunting you
you.
slash kind of helping you
helping you every
throughout
once
the
in a
thing,
while, having fun.
and it's like, but before you go, it's like the real reason I brought you here is because, you know, blah, because yada yada, I'm stuck or I need help, yada yada, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, no thanks, bye, dog gets yoinked, right?
Yeah.
But if you choose to go help the gremlin, I think by the end of the 10th level, I think the other person like gets
other
killed.
person dies. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe
he's
the gremlin just
killed.
possesses him, and then that's how he leaves. Like the gremlin can't leave on his own, but he needs like a body or a host, and so he just like possesses you, and then.
I'm thinking the monster that takes the dog is the second monster.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm thinking, like,
we don't see anything.
Yeah.
It's like a new.
but like if you're playing this only once, I feel like if the gremlin possessed the human, and then the human and then as the human, you're just like as the possessed human, you tell the dog, you're like, you can leave, you're out of here, go through the front door, and you're fine, you win, you know. And so you have like that dilemma where you that like the human is possessed, but like you are the only person who controls stuff, and so to end the game, you have to just like walk through the door and leave. Like you have to leave the human. Like so for the abandonment one, like you say, I'm not gonna help you, grandma, I'm gonna leave, and so you both leave together, but the dog gets taken. But then like if you finish the game, the human gets possessed, and the human can't leave because they can't control their own character, and the dog has to just like leave on their own. And they're just like set free. They're like, I don't need you anymore, And that could just be like the ending.
Possibly, yeah.
Or you just eat both. I don't know. So long. Where's the devlog?
God, we still have
devlog is starving, bro. The devlog is dying.
Oh, I've been recording for so long.
I know you gotta type faster, bro. You gotta type faster. Add the ending. Add the ending right now. Do it. Just say.
We've been going for so
just
many
say, can
hours.
you overcome your phobia? That's all you have to write.
Oh my.
Just write it. That's all you have to write.
We've been going for like 4 hours.
No, you're not. Just write it.
YouTuber version.
YouTuber version and voiceover version.
That's what we have for the intro.
Sure,
so.
sure. We're still recording. We're all good. We're chilling. Pop off.
Being chilling.
There's at least 30 minutes of just us standing here like this.
Yeah, that's fine. I just cut it out, and no one has to worry about it.
Yeah, but I gotta upload that. So, okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Voice over time. Voice over. Check. Okay. Mic 1 2 1
Sure.
2. Voice getting deeper. Cool. My heart. Every time. Okay. Can I overcome my fears and do the voiceover? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Man's Best Fear is a 2-player co-op experience where each level depicts a unique and different phobia, ranging from the fear of the dark to the fear of the spiders.
You and your companion seek answers to a mysterious phone call. Guided by an unknown voice, the players will have to make their way through each level utilizing different skill sets to complete puzzles and find out the reason why they were brought here.
Both players' choices and actions have an effect on the other's gameplay. Each level has a unique phobia-inspired boss that each player must fight to overcome in order to progress through the story.
By the end of the journey, players will be forced to make the decision. Will you escape with your life? Or will you attempt to save the mysterious voice? And most importantly, can you overcome your fears?
Pretty sick.
That's
Pretty
that.
good. Pretty good. Now YouTuber version. Hey guys.
Now YouTube version.
Wow, I don't know how to switch.
Your companion seeks to answer.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like the gremlin, man. Get the freaking low pass on that. Get the low pass on that. Go to the door. Open the door.
Flip
Okay,
that light switch over there.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Go through the crack.
Flip it on.
Cool.
Here's the address.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Man's Best Friend is a 2-player co-op experience where each
Man's
level.
best fear.
Wow.
Man's best
Let me say what I want, man. Let me say what I want. Let me say what I want. Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Ready? Look. Man's Best Fear is a 2-player co-op experience where each level depicts a unique and different phobia, ranging from the fear of the dark to the fear of spiders.
Okay.
What?
Uh,
What?
How far? I'm just looking at your camera because
Is my camera not good?
Well, you're getting
Oh,
you're getting
no.
cut out your shoulder,
Oh,
so I
no.
just wanna make sure.
Okay,
that
so I
you're
gotta
not-
redo it now.
Well, were you cutting cut out before? Or are
I
you
don't know.
fine?
It's like this.
Okay,
I don't know what I was like. I don't know if I'm watching. I'm not looking at the
Oh,
camera either.
I'm just looking for YouTube.
Man's Best Fear is a 2-player co-op experience where each level depicts a unique and different phobia, ranging from the fear of the dark to fear of spiders.
You and your companion must seek answers to a mysterious phone call guided by an unknown voice. The players will have to make their way through each level utilizing their different sets to complete puzzles and find out the reason why they were.
Both players' choices and actions have an effect on each other's gameplay. Each level has a unique phobia-inspired boss that each player must fight to overcome in order to progress through the story.
By the end of the journey, players will be forced to make the decision. Will you escape with your life? Or will you attempt to save the mysterious voice? And most importantly, can you overcome your fears? Bam!
That's a wrap.
Alright guys, that was our pitch. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully the concept art, we haven't made it yet. I'll be making it probably later tonight. So, by the time you're seeing this, it'll be concept art. Hopefully it was good. Hopefully it helps sells the vision. And let us know in the comments if you guys would buy this game if it existed. That's kind of like the most important part. You know, if people liked it, people would buy it. You know. Obviously there's nothing we can do if you don't enjoy the horror genre, because you know, nothing we can do there. But hopefully you thought it was a cool idea. And yeah, I'm excited to make more of these in the future. We got to figure out how to not take out, I think, but maybe not. Maybe it's good. If the video turns out good, it'll be good. Anyways, this has been LSHFT Studios with another great video.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I was gonna say something cringe and then I stopped myself and then
Oh no.
ended with that. So what I was gonna say was
Sure.
much more cringe. So
Okay,
you know what?
good.
We'll go with that.
Congrats.
See ya.
See ya. Start it. Okay. We're on devlog
we gotta-
now. We're on devlog now. We're on devlog now. I don't care. We're doing devlog. Welcome to devlog. Bam. I'll do the intro. Ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
What do we want me to say? Oh my gosh.
Welcome back to week 4 of the devlog.
Oh, you're just gonna do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You're like, I'm too lazy, dude. I want to go to
You
bed.
actually want to do it?
I'll do it. I don't
You
care.
got it? Do you know
I'm
it?
finding.
got it?
Give me a second.
I don't think we wrote a script. I think
It's
you just-
right here,
Okay.
but like not the
Sure.
whole thing. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like. Okay, you guys ready?
Got it. Go
3,
for it.
2, 1, go. Hey YouTube, welcome to episode 4 of the devlog. Today we're just going to be talking strictly about tag again, but we're going to be talking about the differences between our quick play casual mode and ranked, and then also the league pro esports league mode.
Yep. We just got done filming our other video, so we're very tired because it's 9 p.m. and we started at like 6. So we've been going for a while. So, you know. Anyways, so yeah, we're going to be talking about the difference between casual versus ranked versus pro game modes. It should be pretty quick, pretty
Yeah.
short one. Because we're just going to talk about differences, maybe not even like too deep into, you know, ranked specific stuff, you know.
Exactly.
Just kind of how a round plays out and how a game starts, you know? That's what we'll be doing.
Cool. Yeah, so getting straight out into it, obviously we talked about last week how you only score points when, it was in the ranked mode, you only score points when you run away. And if you get tagged, you don't score any points for that round. So the only way you can win is by, like, if you get set first as the runner, you have 3 chances to run away and score 3 points. And if you're the chaser, you have 3 points. You get like the chance to stop your opponent from getting up to 3 points. And then when it's your turn,
Right.
you have to beat that score in order to win the game, if that makes sense. So technically the runner's at a disadvantage because they don't know what score they have to beat or have to set because that's technically the setter. But like that's just the basic idea for ranked. And it could be changed later down the line. The idea for casual is just going to be that you score points no matter what you do and you only play one. So you don't do the switch, you only play runner or you only play chaser.
Yep. So it's basically half of a ranked match.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
But both sides will
half
score
of
points.
A ranked match. Yeah, both sides score points. Basically, if chaser tags you, they get a point. Runner gets away, they get a point. So the way I'm seeing it now, it seems to me like ranked will be much more runner heavy in terms of winning. Runners, obviously, the
you have
person
to
who's
be
running
really good
will
at
probably
running
be
to
the one
win. Yeah, of course.
win. But casual's more so for chasing. I could say I could see is much easier to win based off of chasing. So maybe casual is something we have to work out. Like I said, we've really tuned the game for ranked and ranked stuff. That's why our main game mode is ranked, not casual. But I feel like casual kind of needs to be there for people who just want to mess around playing the game, have stuff. Not wanting, because like ranked in our game, you have to be kind of very locked in, I'd say.
You have to use a lot of brain power all the time.
Yeah, it's a very locked in. You can't just get on and play. So the reason we have a casual is because you don't want to lose, RP or SR, whatever we're calling it.
Right out the gate, just to warm up.
Yeah, just right out the gate, just play, just warm up.
Exactly.
And yeah, and just to reiterate how ranked works again. Basically, it's split. The games are split into two halves. One half, you'll be runner. It's like say me and you are playing. You'll be runner for the first half. I'll be chasing you. And then at halftime we swap, and I'll be running for the second half, and you'll be chasing me for the second half.
Exactly.
That's kind of how it works itself out. And runners are the only people who can get points by running away. That's why there's two halves. Outside of that, 3-minute rounds most likely could be tuned. That's just what we have set for now.
Exactly.
And obviously we'll up you guys if we change it, because that's the whole point of these devlogs, is updates and different things. Outside of that, that's kind of how a game works. We could talk a little bit about the tagging if we wanted to, but you have to be very close to tag. So.
Yeah, if you know about Titanfall, there's a thing that we termed or coined, I guess. I don't know if we coined
TP
it like
melee.
it's called TP melee.
It's TP melee. Yeah.
Which is basically just like when you input a melee or input like
if you're close enough, it'll just latch onto the person.
It'll just latch onto the person no matter where they go. So if they land
Apex has this a little bit.
I've seen some if they land a grapple slingshot like while you're in range to melee them and then you hit the melee and you're within range, you'll be just pulled to wherever they get grappled to, basically.
Right.
And I think we've gone up towards of like maybe 5-10 meters max, like with the melee.
Something.
Nothing too crazy, but it can be like
really
it's kind of
like,
stupid. It gets stupid. It gets stupid distance.
Yeah. So that's something we're obviously fixing in our game and not having.
Yeah. You have to be aiming at the person. It's not like Overwatch where you can just throw out the melee and it works.
Yeah. If you're aiming at them, it'll take a decent amount of skill, so that's why we can't really say which side is more balanced, because we don't know how those mechanics will play into all of it, and especially with the interaction of abilities and perks, which we'll dive into a later video on exactly what those entail. But also to reiterate, you can't change your perks for the entirety of a match, even if halftime. But at halftime, you'll be able to switch your abilities, and you get 3 perks, 3 abilities. And you'll be able to switch those, so you can have abilities that you like using when chasing. You have abilities you can like away. I think that's pretty fair. But perks are stuff that give you like maybe permanent speed, just different type of trigger stuff. I think we've moved to permanent speed boost and stuff, and they're much more unique now.
I'm trying to find the thing that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
There we go. So a couple things we're experimenting with, and obviously the game is still in a quote-unquote prototyping stage. And I'll talk a little bit more about this when we go into more like the league version. in ranked, you get. We haven't decided yet if you get your perks revealed or your abilities revealed, but one is revealed before the other, so that there's counterpicking.
So perks I believe are revealed, and then
Okay,
ability
and
revealing
then
because
abilities
they're
would
gonna
be
be
revealed
visible
afterwards.
on the character,
Yeah. Okay. So
and so you're gonna
perks.
have to look at the other
Exactly.
person's character to figure out what abilities they're
So
holding.
when you're in queue and you get queued up with somebody else, it's like you on
Hmm.
one side, them on the other side. Obviously, there might be some
Right.
UX changes and whatever else, but
Hmm.
um, when you go through it, basically you'll choose your perks, they'll choose their perks, they'll both be revealed, and then you'll be to choose your abilities, they'll choose their abilities, and that won't be revealed. You'll have to just like look at
Right.
the player, and the player will have maybe like if they, let's say they have a grapple, they'll have it
Hmm.
hanging on their side, or if they have
Yeah.
let's say an ability that's helps you see, they'll have maybe some glasses or a visor or something like that, and they'll all be very obvious, but you'll have to still
Yeah.
look at them and have to be close enough to the player to actually like kind of visually see it if the person doesn't use the ability.
Right.
um
And that's kind of like one of those things that like that's not like a part of the gameplay of, oh, you need to like look at them to do it. Like that's
mm-hmm.
just something that like that's like kind of like one of those things like that developers like put in a game that's not like an intentional part of the gameplay, that but
Yeah.
that later becomes like the secret mechanic. Like I could say like in Apex when you're dropping at the dropship, looking around and looking at where is kind of like one of those
Mm-hmm.
things
Exactly. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
isn't it's not told in the game to do that, but you can do it
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it's helpful. And it's kind of the same
Similar
thing with
idea.
looking for abilities.
Exactly.
The point is that the abilities aren't revealed, but if you know what they look like, character, it can help you tell in the gameplay, which is kind
Exactly.
of like one of those
A
saucy
cheaty
little like
cheat mechanic. Cheat
game,
mechanic.
yeah, yeah, little things
Um.
like that.
Yeah. And so then during halftime, you obviously can't switch perks, but you can switch your abilities, and those still won't be
Hmm.
revealed at all.
Yep.
And so you still have to look at the player, but that just allows you to have some more specialized. And then we're also testing to see about whether we should walk out perk or walk out abilities after you use them. So let's say you use grapple for the first for like you're running, you can't
Hmm.
use grapple for chasing, something like
Right.
that. That's still in the
And yeah,
process of
that's the
being
experimental
worked
stuff.
out. And we have a
But the
couple other
changing
things.
abilities at halftime should be,
Should be something at least alpha, I think.
yeah, and it'll be it'll help offset the difference of like whoever starts running second, or
Exactly. You
chasing
can counterpick
second.
the person because you'll know exactly what they
It
were
helps,
using.
yeah, it helps offset, kind of some of that disadvantage you're at by
Mhm.
being able to swap it up with abilities and play a
Yeah.
different play style.
If something's not working, obviously.
Right.
And then
Um
talking about the league,
Yeah,
the
the pro
ideas.
play mechanics.
There's going
Esports
to
is like a
be
huge
big idea.
esports is a
Yes.
huge part kind of for us because
Hmm.
esports is something that in most games is not that great to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of them when like watching hype moments is obviously,
Yeah.
but generally watching a game isn't great. And so we want like the whole kind of flow of a pro match to be very entertainment focused as well as displaying individual players' skills. Um, and you think in a 1v1 game like tag is, how do we do teams, keep teams in there and, keep professional teams? So, to break this
I'm,
down, do you know where the document
I
is?
have no idea where it is.
Okay, it's in core mechanics and then it's at the
Is it?
ranks. Yeah, rank
Oh.
ladder. It's a little page, right? How rank
Oh.
works
Oh.
right there.
Perfect. I see. So
Yeah.
you moved it. Okay.
We have
Cool.
a
Yeah.
whole little round. Um so we'll go over
This
the
is gonna get a
teams.
little confusing, but that's fine.
I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. Basically, each pro esport team. So let's just take a few that are out there. Let's go with like TSM, and let's go with like Optic Gaming or something,
Sure.
Luminosity, something
That's fine.
100 Thieves, something like that.
Okay.
I think I used like 100 Thieves in like our old like thing.
Yeah.
Let's just say TSM and 100 Thieves are going at it. Basically,
Okay.
TSM will have 5 team members, and 100 Thieves will have 5 team members. One team will start as runners for the first half of the game, and the other team will start as chasers for the first half of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Each game half of the game will have 5 rounds each, right? And then at halftime, you'll swap, and there'll be another 5 potential rounds. And basically, a coin flip will decide which team goes and be runners or is chasers. That could change, but for right now, that's what we decided. And basically, each round in a half is a player's round, because each round will still be 1v1, except it'll be 1v1 against each player. So if
Mm-hmm.
100 Thieves has, I'll just give out random names. There's a Ben, there's a Josh, a Jeremy, so on and so forth. And then
Mm-hmm.
TSM has, their Ben, their Josh, their Jeremy, and they're pitting basically their players against the other players
Yeah.
in 1v1 matches.
Mm-hmm.
And so with having 5 rounds in the first half and 5 rounds in the second half, basically each player on the team will have one chance per game to be a runner and one chance per game to be a chaser and
Mm-hmm.
display their abilities in the form of 1v1 while still being team based of a game,
Yeah.
We got a lot of random stuff in here, but that should be um
One thing I will say is there's going to
uh,
be ability pools, ability bans, right? Maybe I don't know. I don't remember if we talked about that.
I
And
don't think
then
there'll be bans
and
as
then
of
what we did say
yet.
was that you'll have like each player will have their own. We won't just have like a random like a general ability pool. Each player will have their
Mhm.
own ability pool that
Yeah,
will be
will
obvious
be the ability.
before the start
Yeah,
of the round robin, I guess is what you would call it. So that you can go in
yeah,
and counterpick people using the pools that are available, if that makes sense. So if somebody has ability that could be countered, you can try to line them up and try to get them to 1v1 to get your competitive edge. There's a lot
yeah.
of back and forth with that. I would say if your best two examples would probably be like looking at what they're doing with StarCraft and also probably what they're doing with honestly chess. Like those are probably
Yeah.
the two like best examples of like 1v1 style in tournaments, I guess. I'm trying to
Hmm.
think of like other games that also do that. Obviously like FGC, but like the way they do it is a little bit different because it's not like necessarily teams. It's all just kind of like your own pools and your own doing whatever.
Yeah.
Um, is there
All
anything
right.
else? I don't think so.
So, at the beginning of each game, the order of players is decided by a team captain.
Mm-hmm.
So each team captain will put in their players in whatever order they want, and then, um, I believe orders are, um, put in by the team captains. And we haven't fully decided this, but I do want to bring up that I think there'll be like another round of ordering. Each
Yeah.
team
Mm-hmm.
will
There
get
is.
revealed,
Yeah.
each team's roster, and then I think we'll limit what order can be swapped. So maybe the team captain can only swap 2 players
Yeah.
around.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll be
Exactly.
able to swap 2 players around, and then team. Then it becomes like a war between team captains. Like, all right, will they swap their players around? Will they keep players same? And then they have to try to it's kind of like a chess
Exactly.
figure out who's swapping whatever, and then there's all so
If
so there's
anybody,
so even before the game starts, there's
there's already some.
already team play and like team ideas being and strategies being created
Mm-hmm.
whilst they're still being 1v1. So I think it's
Yeah.
a really cool
And
idea.
if you have no idea what we just said, I would say that probably the best example is like I don't know if it happens to other FGCs, but in Melee and Ultimate, there's something called a blind pick, which is basically
Mhm.
where um, one player declares that they want a blind pick, meaning like the opposing player has to declare what character they're going to play before they choose it, and they tell it to a third party, and then you would tell it to the other third party, and then you both choose your character blindly without knowing the other person. So you
I
can't
see.
just like get counterpicked on it. It's the same idea. Like you'd have your
Hmm.
lineup, you'd know the characters' rosters, and you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
switch
It
without
would
knowing what
all
the other
be
person's doing.
displayed. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
all be displayed on like a graphic going up,
Mm-hmm.
on screen for the esports.
Yeah.
It all get like displayed. Like they would put in the roster in whatever order, blah blah blah. It all get displayed, and then it'd be like, all right, shuffle your orders around with
Yeah.
whatever you want. Some people might keep their order, some people might
I don't
not.
know when this is going out, but we might be able to get some graphic stuff going up on this. If I mess with it, I might be able to get some graphic stuff going.
Maybe if you
Because
want
it's a
to,
little
we'll
confusing,
see.
but we'll see. And otherwise, I'll cut
If
this out
I'm
and you'll never hear this.
Yeah, if I'm editing the other video and just spending all the time on that, are you editing devlog?
I'll probably edit this one. I think
Okay.
that's probably fine.
All right.
Depends on when I can get it out. But yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So that
It
is
has to be out by
probably
Friday.
everything. Yeah. I don't
You
know
have
about
to
that,
edit
but
it today, tomorrow, or
I'll see what I
Thursday
can do.
night, or Friday by 3:30. So
Ooh, fun. Yeah. So
it shouldn't. It's not. They're not too hard to edit.
they're not
So
that bad. Unless I want to get some freaking stuff. Then it's gonna be
yeah. So
difficult. I should have drawn it. I should have drawn it in paint. We would have had a good time if I drew it in paint. Oh
anyways,
my. I don't think there's
Um,
anything else. I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about. It's already going a little bit long.
yeah, pretty much. There's some other stuff, but that's kind of just for us. I
Yeah.
don't think you need to know
Yeah.
that.
I think it's already confusing enough, honestly.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the difference. Got really casual, got ranked, and you got a really good esports kind of idea.
Yeah.
Um, there's gonna be another thing called like Clan Wars or something similar, where
Yeah.
you'll be able to create lobbies and have like your own scrims in this kind of team format.
Scrims.
Yeah, scrims, and this like in this kind of team format. So it's not just restricted to the best of the best. Regular players will be able to set up lobbies like this and play it and create like scrims and
Yeah.
have play against teams. So it'll all be possible. And then there's further stuff of like how many rounds and how many, you know,
Yeah.
there's ways to win. It's just it's its own.
There's
thing.
there's more stuff. There's more stuff.
There's always more stuff.
There's always more stuff. Yeah, yeah.
But
that's true.
Not that you need to know all of it. So
yeah. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. We'll happily answer them next week.
Yeah, next week.
And if you do send them in, we'll answer them live on Wednesday. I don't remember what day exactly that is. That would be on the second. And if you can't catch it live at 3:30 PST,
we put them up Thursday. Well,
Friday.
actually, if you can't catch the video form live,
you can either just watch it.
You can just rewatch the whole thing, or Friday 3:30 p.m. we upload devlogs, and if you want to listen to audio, those go up 3:30 PST on Thursday.
I see.
That's
Perfect.
the day.
Perfect.
Yep, it's all spread out.
Cool.
And other videos do not have a schedule yet because
no schedule.
Hopefully by Halloween.
This is
that's the idea.
Though. Wednesday every day. Not every day. Every
Wednesdays
week.
when
every week.
The devlog and podcast, the main three that the podcast and the devlog. Those have been consistent.
And if you're trying to catch, any of the what we call specials, I guess, or the rework segments, the game design segments, whatever else we want to talk about, those are all also live during the thing. So if you don't want to see like the actual finalized video and you just want to see them live in the kind of creative process, those are also done all on here.
Yep.
Perfect.
And we'll see you guys next week for another devlog. Later.
See ya.